Hey Barry, good to see you. Let's go ahead and put that. Now, if I remember correctly, the combo counter is up top, isn't it? So we're going to lower that and put it right there. Perfect. All right. Hi everyone. Hi Barry, good to see you. Straighten up my tie here. All right. Good to see you. All right, Barry, you've got your code ready. Hey, Steven, how's it going? All right. Boy, I didn't even get to shave this morning. I'm going Wild West over here. Okay. So let me go ahead. First things first. So I actually should unlock Karn in my game as well. So I'm going to open my code linker. So if there's anyone out there watching who's new to code linker, go ahead and open your code linker. And you want to select unlock content in this title. So if you're new here and you're just joining the stream and you're new to the series, go ahead, your code, put that in the comment section. I'll generate an unlock code for you. So what do we got here? Today we are distributing Karn for Guardians and Metal Exterminators S. So I'm going to put PG. Put your code in the comment section. I'll generate a code for you. So I've just got a code for myself here. So I'm going to enter this in. I'm going... Oops. There's significant input delay on this. I would love to be able to get a new capture card. Actually, it would be really nice because this is... Sometimes it's worse than other times. I think there's something up with the... Sometimes the capture card is... It's like, this is a whole second behind today. I don't know what the deal is. J, K, R... I just thought of something really cool. Okay. Okay, great. So I've unlocked Karn de Lance in my game. I'm going to start Frontier Fighters, and I'll generate those codes for you guys now. Alright, Barry's first. So R, W, K, D, H. R, W, K, D, H. Generate. Alright, and this is for Barry in the comments here. How's you guys' week been? I've been pushing it a bit too hard in terms of work, actually. So let's see. Who was last week? Did we? Oh right. So I'll contact the contest winners. We ran a contest this week, and the winners will get Melty. I'll be contacting the winners later, probably later today. Let's see here. I don't know what to do about this input delay because my capture card, well, my capture card's like a whole second behind now. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so Barry. Okay, your code is here. A Q J Y. So today we're just hanging out. I'll see if there's anything in terms of the games that I can share. We'll play some of the games a bit and just hang out. This will just. I'm kind of just looking for an opportunity to take a short break from my work because I've been working a little bit too hard. I've been pushing the hours. I've been staying up until about 2:30 for work and then up as soon as I can get started. Usually start work around at 8 or so. Today I woke up at 9, which is a little late. It was quite late for me because I think I've been pushing it a bit hard in terms of my workflow. Gino's A. Hey, good to see you. P Q Y G C. All right. Okay. Y U S M T. All right. Gino's A. F O S Good to see you. Okay, FOS. Ginoze, I think you got the top score. You got. Did you get 13? Did you get 13,340 or something like something? Is that you? Hey, Winslow man, good to see you. Oh, I'm glad you're still enjoying the game. That's great. Okay, so this one is for Ginoze. CSMLT. Here we go. Light, hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Yeah, you guys make sure you put your link code in the comment section, and I'll generate an unlock code for you, and you'll get Karn DeLance, a new playable character. Let's see. Well, I have to put all the scores together in a table and see. But we'll run the contest again. So today we're distributing Karn, but the contest winners... again, I'll double check all the scores. I'll put them in a table. Well, this is... I don't know what to do about my capture card, guys. It's a whole second behind right now. I don't know if I should unplug it from my computer and then plug it back in. Maybe I should have done that. But it's pretty bad. So the contest winners, this week we're going to run a contest for Game B. So whoever gets the high score in Game B. So I'll be awarding the contest winners Melty. So if you've got there's like 2 people that got higher than 10,000, you guys will get Melty. So I just need to double check all the scores. Gina say I may as well award you your code now actually for Melty. So that's it, Melty. So you'll get this fun friend, beautiful fun friend. Okay. Okay. Guys, I think I'm gonna unplug my capture card and then I'll plug it back in again because there's more than a second input delay right now. So here's what I was thinking. I was just thinking this. Are there any fans of like Bleach or JoJo's Bizarre Adventures? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I said adventures. Like that sounds weird. Like Star Fox Adventures. Yeah, these lives are fun. We just get to hang out. We get to talk. We can talk about whatever. You know, I get to hear about what games you guys are playing and whatever's going on with you guys. Well, Steven, hold on. You commented something up there. I just missed it. So what I want to do is I want to add. You know how some streamers have the comments on the screen. I want to figure out how to add that because it just adds context to whatever we're talking about. If people are watching it afterwards, or if you're watching it, not on your phone, it's kind of harder to keep up on the comments. I think. Steven, you had. Elkin Fencer, I'm not trying to call out people's names here. Elkin Fencer, yeah, had to call a parent today because her kid wouldn't get off his phone and was failing the class. And instead of believing her kid's lie, she was like, quit lying, show this man some respect. Huh. That's cathartic. Well, obviously the parent knows that the kid just loves using their phone. And, I would kind of say like, oh, kids these days, how's that any different from when we were kids? We were constantly playing with virtual pets in the classroom. We weren't allowed to use a Game Boy in the classroom, but any chance we got, we would use a Game Boy. And those are two totally different categories of things, sadly, because unfortunately, phones are our entertainment and then they're vital communication, which means you can't separate those two things anymore. Whereas teachers could say no Game Boys in class because it's just entertainment. But if we used our Game Boy to make phone calls and contact our parents, then it would be a different issue. So, it's easy to doom and gloom and say, oh, kids are awful these days. I don't agree with that. I think the opportunity to do wrong is just higher. But I think kids have the same attitudes in terms of school sucks and we'd rather be having fun right now. That's how we were as kids, Teachers were taking virtual pets off of us when we were kids. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Hey, Super Smash. Good to see you. Let me get your code. Okay. Super Smash. So I'll do Super Smash's code, then I'm going to unplug my capture card, and then I'm going to plug it back in. Thanks. G C V O D. DFP JU. Okay. Cool. This is for Super Smash. This is AIJPR. You and some dudes played DS and 3DS in school. See? It's the exact same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that we view phones differently. But to kids these days, the phone is just a Game Boy because they don't have a Game Boy. Game Boy doesn't exist anymore. It's the same thing. You have to head off shortly. Well, it's great to see you, Barry. We'll catch up again soon. We'll catch up in the Discord or whatever. Elkin Fencer. Kids are kids. They're no different than when we were kids and our parents were kids. Parents, I think, are different, but kids are just kids. Well, absolutely parents are different because parents grew up with all of this technology that our parents didn't grow up with this technology. So it's weird. Like, we are weird. We are the strangest adults, I think, because we've gone through the most technological change and the most, I would say, commercial manipulation. Because we grew up in decades where there was a huge focus on the manipulation of children for money. We were marketed to with toys, cereal mascots and things. So I've been noticing a trend in terms of our mainstream media and our marketing with video games and movies and TV shows is they're heavily relying on manipulating us, our generation, through nostalgia. And I don't believe I've seen a generation that has been so manipulated and so just having their arm twisted through the use of nostalgia. Can you imagine your parents, did they have to go through what we're going through now, where our parents are saying, oh, I have to see this movie because it's a remake of a remake of a remake that I really like. You never saw our parents being forced to buy a video game because it's something that they grew up with. So our generation is in a really weird and interesting place where we're the first ones in this frontier, but it's like a really crappy frontier. Like, this frontier sucks. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see where we are in media right now. Hey, Winslow Man, good to see you. Okay, let me get you your code. Winslow Man. Oop, I didn't click into the typey box here, I think. That's the problem here. Hey, you're right, we suck. No, we don't suck. It's the mainstream media and our forms of entertainment taking advantage of us and manipulating us. That's what sucks. And unfortunately, it makes money. It's an easy way to make money. CPSNP. CPSNP. Okay, I think this is right, unless I've looked at it wrong. We kind of suck. No, I wouldn't say that. I say we're weird and interesting. It's strange that we have 45 and 50-year-old men that... It's interesting because our 45 and 50-year-old men dress kind of like kids from the 80s, which is like, whoa, big surprise. What do you think about that? And it's interesting because you look at when I always think back to the 90s, that's kind of my reference point when I was a kid, and I look at the adults then, and those adults were like, yeah, that's an adult, okay. But you see our adults in their 40s and 50s these days, and they dress like they're kids still, and it's really interesting. It's really fascinating. I don't always wear a three-piece suit, not always, but I would say that a significant portion of my wardrobe consists of three-piece suits. I think they're comfortable and easy to wear. Imagine feeding the same dog that bites you on the way to school every day just because you know the dog. That's an interesting analogy. That's really interesting. We perpetuate the system that is obviously there to exploit us, and it sucks because it works. It really sucks, and you'd have to do something egregious. You got the reference. You'd have to do something really egregious, like destroy the Marvel Cinematic Universe before people really like decide that they just don't want it anymore. You know, I'm going to unplug my capture card. I'm going to see if that sort of fixes it. I don't know. I can't play the game right now because there's significant input lag. So I have 2 capture cards, right? Maybe if I switched capture cards, so I take that out. Is it this guy? This guy's the one, right? Is he the one? I feel like this should work fine, you know? Do-do-do. Is the sound that I've disconnected it? Is that right? Okay. So I'm going to plug it back in. I'm going to put the switch back in there. See if it comes back. I don't know if OBS is going to sort of cry about it, you know? Okay, so OBS didn't like that I've unplugged the device, right? So what if I switch it out? Oh, it's back. It's back. Let's see if the input lag is any better. Oh, okay, yeah, the input lag is significantly better. Okay, that's interesting. So my capture card gets tired. My capture card gets tired over time, and the input lag gets worse. So I do have to unplug it. Okay, so great. So let me have a look at my weapons here. What have I got? So Karn has weight training. He boosts his move speed. Oh, no, that's an item. A geometry power boosts the power of weapons that he picks up in battle by 75%, which is absurd because, of course, you can level up geometry power. And this is such a fun character archetype because you don't get, a ton of weapons, but geometry power, because you can level that up like 5 times or something, you can just get an absurd boost. And then this is meant to be like a boss fight character. So every character is designed to excel in a particular way. Karn is meant to deal with bosses. Once the enemy levels start going up, Karn's a good way, but you have to find the weapons in the mission. So Karn starts with a long claw, and I think I'm just going to give him a ranged weapon. Flamethrower. Oh, this is a good flamethrower, Flexing Grease. Let me go ahead and hide this real quick. Flexing Grease it's a renamed ability from... Oh, no. I think this is... Yeah, I think it was originally called something else in the original, but I had different naming convention that I wanted to stick to. So the ability is called Flexing Grease, and it is it increases the size of your hitboxes of your melee attacks. The long-range counterpart to this for guns is called Cowboy Grease. So Cowboy Grease increases actually the hitbox size of your firearm, so it's easier to hit enemies. So if you have a gun character, make sure you try and find Cowboy Grease for them. If you have a melee-based character, Flexing Grease is what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and take the flamethrower because that's going to help Karn with that. And I'm just going to take a cheap weapon. What's cheap? Ooh. Yeah, I'll take the machete. Karn's a good melee character. So I'm going to take the machete, I'll take the flamethrower, and we're going in. And we're just going to see what the mission is here. Level 4 enemies, great, okay. What kind of capture card do you use? It's some generic thing that I bought for $15 off eBay, You just got an Elgato 4K 60 Pro MK2 the other day. Ooh, nice. One day I'll get a decent one, but right now it's not really a priority, So I have a decent loadout. Okay, so if I check that, I'll get a decent boost out of that. 66. You don't have to hit the enemy in order for your combo power to go up. So you see how I was using flamethrower and it kept getting stronger? So just throwing out any random attack does increase your combo power. a little worried here. Chuck out my special there. Okay, they missed. Chuck that out. I do need some experience points here. I'll just bait these guys into hitting me, get some free space here. So I want to hang on to... I'll spam my special attack because I have an item here, so I'll just use it up. You do have to aim it, though. Okay, now I'll use my item. So that restored 4 of my special attack energy. Chuck this out. Hopefully some guys wander into that. Oh, look! Yeah! This is what we call a firestorm, baby. Just walk around that guy. Ah! From behind. Okay, so I'm getting cornered. I've really put baby in the corner, haven't I? Use my special attack to knock those guys back. You know, it's funny. It's really nice not having the big rolling guys to deal with. You really need a character with good shielding, who has a maximum amount of shield energy. Okay, I need that balloon here. The reason why this feels so different from the original is the enemy AI is a bit different, and the max number of enemies that can appear is different as well. So it's significantly harder, but it makes the game last longer because now there's more room and more need for character growth. The character growth is scaled very differently as well in this, so it's designed more for long-term gameplay so that people can enjoy this for a long time, really. Just gotta find some balloons. So the enemy level is 4 right now, which is pretty high. So I think there's a glitch which I need to address, and again, there's going to be a number of just minor glitches. At the end of the day, it's supposed to reset, but again, I was forced to switch Unity versions after I submitted the game, where everything was working just great. Everything was great. I submitted the game, and then from the Unity side of things, I was told I'm not allowed to use that version of Unity, which is a major bummer, and it looks like the difficulty did not reset when the clock ticked over to the next day. So I'll be addressing that somehow in the next version. Ow! I ran straight into it. Let's see, Steven. It's always weird to hear that song in game because that's been my ringtone for the past year. Yeah, I kind of have that. I used to use songs that I really liked for my ringtone, but it started really like it was just sort of twisting my brain around. So I've stopped doing that these days. I just go for the most typical ringtones that I can use these days. Hey, Light, good to see you. Let me go ahead and just finish up this mission. I'm not strong enough for these guys. I wonder how many I've even killed so far. There's so many. It's a little problematic. It's a good thing that Karn's pretty fast. So that really... Uh-oh. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, come on. I do want to succeed here, so... I don't want to die. I just want to... I need to chuck... Ah! Okay, good, 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 good. I could have chucked that out. Yeah! Alright, that's a good start. Good start to the mission. I mean, to my character build here. So I got some tokens, so I'm ahead. Mega Axe's Destructive Bandit. Let's go ahead and see what Destructive Bandit does. So, what weapon did we just pick up? Mega Axe. That's a different Mega Axe. Let me get out of the way here. See if I can get out of the way. I think it was this Mega Axe that I just picked up. Pick up moose tokens after breaking a vase. Nice. Okay, nice. Nice. That's really good. That's really good for farming. If you're finding that you're always low on moose tokens, Destructive Bandit's a great ability to have. There's other bandit abilities as well, so keep an eye out for those. They do help you when you need to grind for tokens, especially if you want to level up your weapons, because it does take a fair bit of money to level up a weapon once. It takes 75. So I don't know. I might even put the bandit skill on if I can find other bandit skills that are really useful. Um, It'd be really cool if there was a character in the future who had a built-in bandit ability, but that would kind of be OP. So if I made it like a really crappy weak character, but they had a bandit ability built in, I think that'd be pretty good because then you can use that character to grind out gold moose tokens for other characters. You set worth the weight in gold as yours for a while now. I thought I just love the idea of these characters incidentally, the songs in the soundtrack which exist diegetically within the universe, incidentally, the names of the songs match the characters as well. And those songs actually do have lyrics. All of the songs in Guardians of Metal Exterminators, I wrote lyrics for them, and they're very sort of designed to feel and sound like 80s songs. But of course you don't hear the lyrics in the games, but I wrote the lyrics so that the melodies of the songs sounded like real 80s songs. Okay, light. Let's see, ELGKD. ELGKD, generate. Okay, so this is for light. Please let me know if I've missed your code, just in case I didn't see it in the comments. Okay, so this is for light. BPMQU. BPMQU. You love that one, but strong as an ox is peak Jarrell. I was under pressure when I was writing strong as an ox because that's Oxa's song, and I knew like this is the Guardians of Metal Exterminator song. It's called Strong as an Ox. It's written for Oxa, and so when I was writing that, I was just thinking like, this is pressure because this has to be the song, you know. And so I really it was really kind of one pass at it. You know, I sort of thought I've just got to channel my inner. I'm an 80s kid, but I'm technically also, I'm a 90s kid, but I'm technically an 80s kid as well because I was born in the 80s. But you don't remember that much, you know, when you're very, very young. But I just thought I've got to channel whatever 80s, you know, energy is in my soul. I've got to channel that. And I really just I just went for it. So the first really, that's like the first draft of the song of Strong as an Ox. Because all of the soundtracks that I wrote for the latest games, I had to write them so fast. No song got a second draft, basically. And I just went for it. So I'm pretty excited with how that one turned out. Stadio, hey, it's good to see you. Let's see, you're enjoying the game. Thanks so much for the free copy. That's great. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. So Stadio, go to the title screen. I'll start my game over again, and I will show you. Oh, you're born in '88, so we're pretty close. Okay, so Stadio. Okay, so I'm starting my game up again. When you get to the title screen, press the B button at the title screen here. Westing Tyler, hi, good to see you. Thanks for coming and hang out on the stream. I'll do my best. I'll just try to focus on making cool stuff for you guys. Yokai, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Oh, I better put that back on. Okay, so if you're new to the code linker system, it normally just lets you cross over one game into another, so that characters from one game can cross over to another. Normally you do the code linker yourself, but I can also distribute code linker content. So press the B button on the title screen. That is, oops. Wow, webcam really confused me just there. Push that button. Push that one there. Push B. When you get to this screen, go to... Oh, my arm doesn't go that far. Click Unlock Content in this title. When you get your blue code, you put that in the comments. Put this in the comments section, and then I will give you an unlock code. So after I give you a code, I'll put it in the comment section, you put it into here, and it'll unlock a character for you. A light. Great, it worked. Alright, you're doing Bull Story at the moment. Hope you enjoy that. I had so much fun writing the extended story for these, knowing that people were asking for more story. I was kind of, I wasn't exactly sure if people wanted less or more story when it came to Guardians and Metal Exterminators, but dozens of people just kept saying, hey, the other characters don't have enough story. And I thought, oh, okay, sure, I'll fill it in then. There you go. Great. Okay, so Stathio, let me go ahead and let me get you a code. But if you have multiple games in the series, you can do this process yourself, and you can get your 2 games to link together. Okay, Stathio is O-Y-T-Y-K. O-Y-T-Y-K. Okay, Stathio, X-C-N-W-B. X-C-N-W-B. And this will give you a new playable character. Tyler, how do you do code link stuff like that? Is it some kind of MD5 decryption thing like a Mega Man password? It is... It's simple. It's not encryption. It's a cipher, but it's not a standard cipher, because the cipher values are different for each character place, and it's different for, it depends on which 2 games you're crossing over. So there isn't a simple cipher that will work. So I think if someone out there had like Sherlock Holmes energy, they could probably reverse engineer it. But I don't think it would be worth wasting your time trying to do that, because if you figured out the cipher, it would take extremely long, and the thing that you figure out would only be for the one instance for 2 particular games crossing over. There's only one situation where the cipher is simple, and that is my upcoming novel. It's called Heavy Shadow, Silver Falls Heavy Shadow. So my novel, which I'll start selling in paperback later this year, can distribute code linker content to the games. So you get the novel, and then you boot up your games, and you can get a character or a monster from the novel to cross over into the games using the code linker system. And that is a situation where the novel has a pretty simple cipher, and that's because it has to be simple because it's coming out of a book, So you got Karn. Awesome. I hope you have fun. It seems like what Zelda Oracle of Ages and Seasons did to link the save files a little bit. I don't really know because I haven't seen that. But this way requires a 2-way exchange. It creates the cipher based on which 2 games that you're linking. So I always wanted to do that, but I never got far enough in Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. I think I was at a point in my life where I had less time for games when those came out, and I was probably busy playing like Final Fantasy, and those kind of absorbed all my time, really. Okay, great. Swifties. Swift. Let me get your code here. VQJ. VQ. All right, and this is EUPTN. EU. You know what I should do? I should set up playing Galaxy Bound Curse on the Game Boy. I think that would be really fun to do. Let me find like an emulator, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll keep hanging out here. We'll play. So I think a lot of people don't realize that Karn is playable in Galaxy Bound Curse, but you have to buy him a number. I think you have to buy him three beers. Yeah, he wants beer. You got to buy him 3 drinks. And I think if you have beer in your inventory, I think like the game will ask if you want to give it to him. So you have to try to recruit him, and he'll say like, "Oh man, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to." He's sitting in the bar, so you can recruit Karn as playable in Galaxy Bound Curse. The same with Rauno. Rauno is sitting behind the bar in Galaxy Bound Curse. He's by the bonfire, but he doesn't want beer. Oh, there's Fun Drink and there's Happy Drink. I think you need to get fun drink to Karn and happy drink to Rauno. I'd have to double check, but it's one or the other. But they both want different drinks. But I think Rauno, I think you give him two, I think two happy drinks, and then Rauno will join you. And he's pretty strong. They're both, you know, pretty good characters, but I think they're both melee based. Westing Tyler. Basically, whichever game you play first, you can somehow unlock new content in the second one you play. Yeah, I love that idea. I never got to see that myself, which is a bummer, because Link's Awakening is one of my favorite games. It might be my favorite Zelda. I'll just let's see. I'm gonna save my money. Stathio, Code Linker is such a cool idea. I'd love to do something similar if I managed to release a game. I had an idea for something similar years back. Genuine coincidence, not trying to steal your ideas. Yeah, I wouldn't accuse anyone of anything like that. I hope you can execute something like that. There's so many different ways to implement an idea like that. But the idea is really, what it's meant to do is, as a developer, it's to push me to make sure that I'm always doing my best and that I'm trying to make these games as big and as good as I can make them. And on the player side of things, it's a chance to check in with your characters that you like, your favorite characters at different points in their lives, and see where they are in terms of story. What really irritates me about video games, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a... I can go on a gamer rant because I'm a gamer like everyone else. So when stuff irritates me, I have the right to vent and rant about it. What really irritates me about Resident Evil characters is it never feels like they change as a result of the events that they go through. They show up in one Resident Evil game, and then they have so much fun killing zombies. They show up in the next game, and it's like it hasn't affected them at all. They're like, oh man, I can't wait to bomb the dongos. You know, it's like, what's up with you? Why? So it doesn't feel like they're growing as characters or as people. It's so frustrating to me from a writer's perspective. And so the Code Linker system is sort of my promise to you that I'm going to make sure that I write these characters with consistency. It makes sure that you get to see these characters, either their growth or you see their descent into a life that isn't ideal because of the decisions that they've made, because of the things that they experienced in their past. And you feel so connected to these characters because you were there. When these characters had to go through this stuff, you were there with them. So it feels like you're checking in with an old friend. It's meant to feel bittersweet because you get to see them, but you get to see them at sort of different points in their lives, and sometimes they might be at a low point, and you understand why. And it's the Code Linker that facilitates that sort of storytelling. If the Code Linker wasn't there and I was just jamming characters into the story, it would be bloated. Because then you have new players that come into a story, and it's like, I don't even know this guy. Why should I care about this guy? You know what I mean? So you can't just jam characters in there. It's the Code Linker that allows you to stay connected to these people who you know these people now. I think the clearest example is Undertakers, and you get to see what Bull has been through. He was 14 at the time of Undertakers, and when you check in with him, especially in this game, I strongly recommend connecting Undertakers and spending time with Bull. And I think it's sad seeing Bull's interactions with other characters, and you understand why. You understand what's happened to him, and things change. And sometimes characters are different, and they feel different, and they behave differently, and you're wondering why. And that's for you to explore and discover, because there are more events in the story. There are more important events in these characters' lives that have not been revealed in the story, but you see the effects of what's happened to these characters. And to me, that makes for interesting storytelling. That's what keeps people coming back and saying, man, I want to spend more time with these characters. People were disappointed when I launched Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers and Shauna wasn't in it. And I was a bummer as well. It was a bummer for me as well, but I just didn't have time to write her story at that point because there was so much writing that had to be done, and I hadn't finished her modern day design. But Shauna is still around. She's just not playable in Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers, but she will appear in future games. Snee Vegas. Great. Let me go ahead and get your code. Snee Vegas. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to Hangout. Sneak Vegas, let me go ahead and get you this new character. Okay, J-O-V-W-X. J-O-V-W-X. Okay. G-S-P-U-U. Oh, you have Undertakers too. Yeah, absolutely. So if you have Undertakers, you can get Bull. I don't, because this game, like, I didn't even know I was going to get this game into existence. So I don't think this game will give you content in Undertakers. Try it anyway, just to see, but I don't, I don't think this will give you anything in Undertakers. Like, this game was so clutch. Honestly, this game only exists through the goodwill of Nintendo, because I had messed up a number of things. Something happened with Unity during development, and at the very end of Unity, the game stopped working on original 3DS, and the game was registered to work on original 3DS. And if the game did not work on original 3DS, it means it was not going to pass approval. And it was too late to register new code to say this game will work on new Nintendo only. So the cutoff period ended. Nintendo said no more new games. You cannot register any more new games. You can't submit anything. No more. And I said to Nintendo, I've messed up. I registered this game with you. I said I was going to submit it by a certain date. Something's happened with Unity, and I cannot get the game to run on original 3DS anymore. And I said, I'm sorry. I've messed up really badly. And there was no solution. So this game had to be canceled. This one had to be canceled for the 3DS. And Nintendo came in. I don't know how they did it, but they said, we've registered a new code for you. So you can submit the game, you can launch the game. And I was just, I couldn't understand it. Like, they went through a significant amount of work. Like, they don't just push a button. There's people that have to do work around the world, and somehow Nintendo did it. I don't know why they did it. Because I'm such a small developer, it's a small game. Why should they go out of their way, to do that? So Nintendo went way out of their way, because I told them, look, I'm making these games for the 3DS fans, because the 3DS fans are bummed out that the eShop is closing. That's why I want to do these final games. I just want to give people something to cheer them up, because the eShop ending sucks. And I believe that's why Nintendo went way out of their way. They didn't do it for me. They did it for you guys, so you guys can have a game to play. So, to me, like, when I see people that say, oh, Nintendo doesn't care, it's like, you're only thinking about the business side of things, like the legal side, where, you look on YouTube and there's, like, content strikes and copyright strikes, where people are making fan games and mods, and people are talking about how to mod your Switch. And when the legal side of Nintendo shuts those things down, people think, oh, all of Nintendo is like that. All of Nintendo just hates us. And it's like, you need to understand that there's compartmentalization. There's so many different sides to a business. And the fact that Nintendo went way out of their way, like, I had to cancel this. I told them I failed, I messed up, and Nintendo swooped in and saved this game. They didn't do it for me, they did it for you guys, And to me, that's absolute proof. You cannot argue with that. There is no arguing with that. Nintendo saved this game for you guys, and that's why, I want to do my best. And people say, like, oh, why keep it exclusive to Nintendo? Nintendo has built an extremely, robust sense of goodwill, towards its fan base. And I feel a sense of respect towards them for the way that they conduct their business, and how they saved a number of my games just for you guys. So, a sneak guess, it worked. Alice Manson, hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Your only request is play as the monster mode for the Vita game. Oh, you love being the monster and going on a rampage, so you like these guys. I'll go on Melty, and again, if you got high scores on game 1, you'll get this guy. I'm gonna exit out of the game, because again, there's a glitch where the difficulty doesn't reset at the end of the day. You have to exit the game to get the difficulty to reset. So if I go here, you can see the enemy level is, let's see, let me go ahead and shrink that. Enemy level is 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit the game and go to the menu, exit, close the game, and open it again. That resets the difficulty. It's meant to encourage you to take a break from this game go and play other games once this game gets too difficult, and then when you come back, the difficulty resets, and then you can just vibe and enjoy the game in a more relaxing way, and then again, the difficulty ramps up. There is a glitch. It's supposed to reset at the end of the day as well, when the clock ticks over, but there's a problem with Unity, and that seems to not be taking effect. If I get to play as Sagan, well, it's possible. If I add code linker data for the Vita game for Survive, that is the cryptid that would make it over, is Sagan McDragon Tits. So, dildo Sagans. You guys. Elkin. You could have easily put your games on PS4 and Xbox to make you more money, but you stayed Nintendo exclusive. They showed you loyalty that you showed them. Absolutely, you know. The relationship that I've built up with Nintendo is, it just, when I was a kid, I had no idea that I would ever be able to do this. It was my dream to make games, but I didn't think I would ever have a working relationship with Nintendo, you know. So, I'm kind of in awe, and at the same time, I just need to not think about it too much and to just keep doing my best, you know. So I'm gonna get more experience points for Karn. I'm gonna level up first though. So attack speed is good. So Karn starts out with pretty low power. I'm going to increase my power. He starts with good movement speed as well, which is nice. He's a good combo character because his attack speed's pretty high. I'll get out of the way. Astathio. Yeah, those criticisms of Nintendo bug me. They've always seemed good. The rest is legal stuff they don't often have a choice about. Yeah, and the people that are making the games are not the people that are handling, you know, the legal takedowns. You know, it's totally different branches of the company. Hogan? Arnold? Where are you guys? I thought it was just at the Dusty Cactus. And what in tarnation are those weird monsters? Shucks, and me without my whip. This is a kind of storytelling that I don't see anywhere in other games. Is this sort of long-term consistency? Because when you see Karn in Galaxy Bound Curse, he's sitting at the bar with his buds, and they're having a drink, and they're celebrating that their friend just has a kid. And the fact that that's his frame of reference when you start this game, that's the first thing he says, and this is set in the 80s, it builds organically a sense of, oh man, that's these guys' life. Like, they hang out, they spend time with their friends, and they hang out at the bar, and they've been doing it for decades at this point. And it builds a sense of consistency that I've not seen. Like, there's no game series like Silver Falls, because I've actively set out to create something new and interesting that sort of, like, I kind of hope that when people play Silver Falls games, they see my passion for life, for not just the specific things that I think are neat and interesting, but I think life is something to be passionate about, to love and enjoy. And I hope when people play Silver Falls, they get that. They get that vibe, you know? Let's see. I'm just going to save my money. I'm going to hop in there. Let's see. Oh, I got different enemies, and they're very strong. I'm going to switch over to... Oof. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be strong enough for that. I'm going to switch over to Oxa for this one, because she's pretty strong. MasterCar77, hey, thanks for coming to hang out. I'm going to drop that. Well, why were you interested in developing for PS Vita? Because the PS Vita rocks. It's such a cool console. I absolutely love it. I got it the first year. I think I got it within the first few months. It's such cool hardware. I just love the hardware. I love the Vita. I love the platform. And I'll never forget the heartbreak I felt when the Vita... I remember seeing the Vita section at the game store, and that Vita section was very small. And I distinctly recall thinking, no, it's going to get bigger. In a couple months, there's going to be tons of games on the shelf. I'm going to buy a ton of Vita games, and it never happened. The Vita section at the store only ever got smaller and smaller, and it was such a bummer. And I know that other people felt that. I know that other people were also disappointed with what was happening on the Vita. And I registered to become a Vita developer, and I started development on Vita games. And then, before I could make any games for it, Sony canceled their developer program, and they canceled anyone that was using Unity. They just canceled it. And I was pretty angry at that point. Because I think you pay like $100 or something to sign up for it. So I did not get a return on investment, and I was angry that why didn't Sony just leave it? They could have left it. Sony could have said, look, you've already signed up, you're already using the software, if you want to make a game, just go ahead and make it. So those are my two experiences. You can see how opposite Nintendo is from Sony. I think that they're total opposites in that Sony, I'm gonna use some strong language here. Sony does not give a shit about you. They do not care about you. They do not care about the people who are making games for them. Sony does not give a shit about you. They only care about making tons of money, whatever way possible. And you can see their attitude towards that. Why would they cancel their developer program for the Vita when the Vita was not even that old yet? If there's people still out there making Vita games, why are you canceling it? What's the point of that? So you can see I'm getting pretty heated because talking about Sony upsets me because they do not care. They treat people like cattle. You and me, the end users, we're viewed as cattle to Sony. They do not care about us. We don't matter to them. We're the least important thing to Sony. And it's so frustrating that people will praise Sony and then put Nintendo down. It's like, oh, you're living in a fantasy world if you think that Sony cares about you and that Nintendo's a bad company. So you saw me get very heated. And that really only happens because Sony is this big company that has all this power, and whatever their presidents were, they're just the most, they don't care. They just treat people like animals. So that's very frustrating to me. That's one of the only things that really upsets me, that gets me fired. You can see I'm fired up. I try to stay neutral, but I'm going to get fired up when people of power treat other people as inferior. That's probably one of the only things that really fires me up. It's one thing that I will fight for, is when people of power treat other people like they're inferior. That really irritates me. MasterCard, you love the Vita. You have 2 of them. That's awesome. That's great. I only have one game on the Vita so far, and that's Silver Falls Survive. It's still public beta. There's a significant amount of improving to do still, and there's more content that I'll be adding to that. Let's see. Power. I might take, I could use another special attack. But I am working on more Vita games as well. So the games that I'll be launching on, when I say I'm working on a multi-platform game right now, that means that I'm very strongly, there's a strong chance that I'm going to bring a version to the Vita as well. You like the button size on the PSP? Yeah, the Vita buttons feel a little small. They're ideal for things like RPGs because it doesn't really matter. But if you're playing an action game, things on the Vita don't feel as comfortable as on the PSP. I'm working on PSP games as well, which is, I just love those consoles. I think they're great. I hope I haven't, I'm just going to scroll up. Let's see. I don't know if I've missed any comments. Let me know if I've missed anything. Super Pixel Pals. Oh, Neoburge. Okay, great. Good to see you, Ben. Stathio. Yeah, Vita is great. You got it. You got it after it finished, after a friend showed you. And you know what's so great is you can homebrew enable your Vita, and people are just making tons of stuff because Sony stopped their developers from making games, and that's why I'm comfortable making games for the Vita. It's sort of like sticking it to the man, don't be a part of the system. Don't let the man tell you what to do. Don't let the man take what belongs to you. And the Vita belonged to us, and they tried to take it away from us, and that's where I kind of, making Vita games is like sticking it to the man, and I get to make games for people like me who really like the platform. So Alice Manson, when you played Silver Falls, you were like, "Oh, such a treat for Halloween! It's on my Vita too." That's awesome. I'm so glad you got it for the Vita. So that game is going to be supported long term. I'm going to keep bringing more content to it, and I'm going to keep improving it. So I'm just such a big Vita fan. I was playing one of the Digimon Sleuth games on it, maybe about 5 months ago or something. Man, oh, it's so cool playing RPGs on that, and the graphics can look so good on the Vita. Elkin Fencer. Some of Sony's studios do, but Sony's computer entertainment absolutely does not care about its fans or customers. Yeah, I know that the people making games, those people care. They want to make good games. But that they are not the computer entertainment of the higher-ups. But I know for a fact the higher-ups of Nintendo care. I can just see it in my dealings with them, like all throughout all their various branches. I know they've cared because I've seen it in action. Spicy Cacao, hey, great to see you. Spicy Cacao, we're distributing Karn, so make sure you put your code linker code in the comment section. I better use my specials here. I'm getting killed. Yeah. And remember, you do have some invincibility when you press ZR to use your special attack. You do have some invincibility there. I have a bad habit of relying on that when I get surrounded, and sometimes I don't pay attention to how much energy I have left, and then I put myself into a corner. So I'm all out of shield right now. I could really use like a health item for my shield. I'm just gonna hit these guys like that. Oh! Into leg. I think Karn uses what's called the Long Claw, which is a rake. I'm pretty sure I put the Long Claw... Oh, I'm not sure. I think I put a Long Claw in Silver Falls Survive on the Vita. I think I did. It's a big deal to me, making homebrew games that I can distribute for free. It's so important to me. I often get people asking, like, why are you doing that? Why would you do that? And I hope people see that and they wonder, like, why would someone go through all that effort? Because, like, if you see the homebrew games that I do that are free, like, you see that they're massive effort, and people do ask, like, why spend the time and effort? And I hope people see that, and they kind of get... Sometimes you gotta do things not because it makes you money, but because it's just cool, man. You gotta do things because it's cool, because it brings you excitement, because you enjoy it, because you're passionate about it, because it brings excitement to other people, and it helps other people experience passion. That's why you gotta do things, man. I'm a strong believer that if you were born in the 90s, you are a neo-hippie, because the people that were in charge of the world in the 90s were the hippies from the 60s. So a lot of our media when we were kids in the 90s is heavily influenced, and it's driven by people that have that sort of attitude, that go with the flow, man. You gotta go where the wind takes you. You gotta believe in what you're doing, make love, not war, do what you're passionate about, and love what you're doing. And I feel like that's had more of an impact on me as I get older and I understand the influences that I experienced in the 90s. And as a neo-hippie, I'm hoping that I can pass that on. And, man, it's not all about making money. Sometimes you gotta do something because you love doing it. I'm gonna get out of the way. Card. Slip down. Sorry, I forgot that's one of his. So I have to write. I have a Bible where I write down. I keep track of characters' catchphrases because I have to write a distinct voice for every character in Silver Falls. I need to make sure that they talk a distinct way, that when you see their text, you can kind of understand and you recognize, oh, I know who's talking right now. I forgot that was one of his catchphrases, so it makes me laugh when I see it. Slap my tallywhacker. Chill, baby. Karn at this point, I think, is still stuck in the 60s. He's got that sort of free-spirited attitude. He enjoys, you know, some 60s things. And for anyone that had seen it before, for anyone that hadn't seen it, this Code Linker content comes from a future Silver Falls game, and that game is called Silver Falls 64. It's a game where graphically it's going to look like it came from the 64. I'm writing the soundtrack using Nintendo 64 sound fonts, so in terms of visuals and sound, I want to make it as faithful as possible to the Nintendo 64. That's where Karn is coming from. So Karn will star in a future Silver Falls game called Silver Falls 64. It takes place in 1964. And the UI, I'm working on the UI, but I really wanted to have like just a lava lamp living vibe to the UI. And it's very, it's going to feel like a Nintendo 64 game. It's a 3D action platformer, so things like the 3D Castlevania games, I think, is what you would probably think it's most similar to, because there's big open areas for you to explore, and there's a lot of mobility and exploration, and that will come at some point in the future. So Silver Falls 64, that's where this Code Linker is coming from. So people that are getting him today, in the future when Silver Falls 64 launches, you won't be able to code link that because I've already given you the Code Linker content for Silver Falls 64. You're super excited to see Karn's story beats. He's one of the more fun characters to write for because he tends to clash with other characters because he's so free-spirited, and he's a little bit carefree. But there's so much more to his character than that, you know. You need a Metroidvania Silver Falls game, Super Smash. Oh, you might not have seen it. A couple years ago I posted, so I was working on a visual style, an aesthetic, but that is going to be Super Silver Falls. So Super Silver Falls, it'll sort of look like a Super Nintendo game, but it'll have really advanced lighting and shadows. So I don't have the trailer. It's not a trailer, it's like small test footage. So I only have test footage, but Super Silver Falls is already hard-coded into the Code Linker data for a number of games. Like if you have White Inside, it's Umbra. Let's see. I think Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers, I think that might have it. But there's a number of games that already have data for Super Silver Falls. It's a low priority title right now. That'll come at some point in the future. And that's partly because it's going to take a significant amount of work. There's 3 playable characters, or 3 main characters in Super Silver Falls, and then of course through Code Linker, there's going to be tons and tons of playable characters through the Code Linker. Alice Manson, that Sony attitude is why I started hacking my Vita. Same. I understand where you're coming from. I feel very similarly. Snee Vegas TV, if you have a PS3, when the internet shuts off on that console, your digital games won't work after your CMOS battery dies. Sony doesn't care. Oh, wow, that is rough. But see, here's the thing. I have faith that the fans, the people that are enjoying the PS3, kind of like how they made a save for the Wii U, I'm gonna trust that the fans are gonna fix it, you know. So we obviously know Sony doesn't care about us. We'll take care of it ourselves, you know. It's kind of like what is it, the end of the first Avengers movie where that really wonky Thanos CGI, he picked up the glove and he said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Or was that after no, the first Thanos thing was him turning to the camera and he was like, yeah. He was like that. So that was the first Thanos thing, right? So what am I thinking of? What movie was the one where he picked up the glove and he said, "I'll do it myself"? Is that Avengers 2, Day of Ultron? I'm not going to say Age of Ultron, because Ultron was there for like a day. And I don't think that qualifies as an age, honestly. PSP2. Here's a funny joke, right? So I have Duck Season coming up. I have Silver Falls Duck Season in development. That'll be the next new Silver Falls that launches. And look, I get a kick when people comment and say Rabbit Season. It's like, that's one of the funniest things that I could think of when I was a kid was Looney Tunes, and I just love that whole Duck Season, Rabbit Season thing. And people saying, "Oh, is there going to be a Rabbit Season?" And I'm kind of thinking, okay, look, if Duck Season sells extremely well, if it sells absurdly well, then I will do a Rabbit Season on the PSP. That's a guarantee. If Duck Season does like 30,000 copies on the Switch, yeah, I'll just set a number. If it sells 30,000, because that's a huge number in terms of like selling. Because my games, it's hard to get noticed on the Switch because there's so many games. We're flooded with games on the Switch, and so I have a tough time picking up sales on the Switch. So if Duck Season gets 30,000, which is a pretty big number for me on the Switch, if Duck Season hits 30,000, then guaranteed I will do Rabbit Season for the PSP. It'll be a companion game. I'll make it work somehow. Spicy Cacao. Oh, hey, I just saw your code there. Let me do Spicy Cacao. Okay. Keyboard spicy. Here is your link code. GJKFF. GJKFF. DMQLW. Okay, please let me know if that works. So I don't know if anyone remembers this joke that we had. This was back when we were launching the final games for 3DS and Wii U. Maybe someone remembers the joke where I jokingly said, because your save file generates a unique string of characters, and I remember jokingly said, like, if someone can get a cuss word to spawn in, then I'll give you like a ton of code linker content. That was just a joke. It was just a joke. I was saying like, oh, I'll give you code linker content for life, unlock content for life. That was just a joke, but eventually, please don't keep resetting your save file to get a curse word in there, because I didn't mean it. But eventually someone's going to get a link code with the F-bomb in it. Someone's link code will have it, and it's going to be attached to their save file. And when that day happens, I think it's just going to be very funny, because there's nothing, it's randomly determined, so there's nothing I can do about it. I just think it'd be very funny that someone opened their save file and it drops the F-bomb in there. Westing Tiger, how do you manage save files? Serialized to JSON or use something like SQLite database? And is there an equivalent place on the Switch or 3DS that functions as a roaming folder, always writable? So I can't discuss, when it comes to the specific things like the 3DS or the Switch, I can't discuss that. Admittedly, so what I'm doing, I need to discuss things in a way that isn't like, that breaches any non-disclosure agreement. So I can discuss things from a generic standpoint. Is I'm writing a byte stream. I'm writing a byte stream to an archive file. So I have my serializable data in Unity, if that sort of makes sense to you. But you can write. So with my games, I create a class that is a save file, and the save file just has basic things like your integers, your floats, your strings. You can't save, like, for example, things like vector3s, so I created a serializable vector3. I created a serializable color for my games that have customizable colors. And your class is serializable, so you serialize that to a byte stream, and then you basically let Unity just write that byte stream into a file, and then you write. So it's, I'm not a scientist. I couldn't explain to you the inner workings of all that, but I'm not using JSON or SQLite. It's just it's the most basic form of writing data, writing serializable file values to a file. Very simple, very easy. You're going to find tons of explanations and examples on the internet. So if you search for Unity save file byte stream, you'll see it. They're very good examples. So I'll show you the, let's look at some monsters here. We'll look at, let's look at. Oh, you know, I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil the story for Karn. I'll let you guys enjoy that. I'll switch over to Melty. So the people that again this past week we ran a contest for game 1 for the high scores. The high score was like 13,340, I think, from Gino Zay. Gino Zay in the comments. Everybody, give Gino Zay a cheer. I think Crunkus Dunkler or something got 10,000 or something, which is, guys, I've never gotten that high. So that's very impressive. I applaud you. Well done. Very well done. And we have some runner-ups. So I'll contact the winners a bit later, either today or tomorrow. My workload's pretty heavy at the moment. But this is the character that you'll get for that. This week, I'll probably post it tomorrow. We'll run a contest for Game 2, which is gold, and the high score from that, again, will win some Code Linker content. And then we'll repeat and rerun some things. I forgot to equip a weapon. Okay, I'm gonna ignore the enemies because I don't want to get killed. I'm just gonna go for the balloons, right? Because I don't have enough weapons for my cryptids right now. Straight off the bat, like a chicken's gonna rush me. So this guy, in the comments, does anyone know where this guy's from? Where he first appeared, the game that he first appeared in. Guys, please. Chuck a special out there. Don't use healing items, that's fine. I don't think I'm going to get much. I think this guy has a lot of health. I think that's the thing, because I'm getting hit a bunch, right? But I've still got a bunch of health up there. I think that's his shtick. Oh, let me get caught up on the comments. Sorry, I've just been sort of gabbing away here. Man, Newt Gingrich was in charge in the 90s. Like, okay, no, he's one that sucks. I didn't say that, like, everyone, you know, was good. But I was talking to my father figure on the phone the other day, and I was sort of explaining that, you know, because I was sort of, you know, saying, like, I was sort of discussing that sort of influence from the 90s, because these days I'm really free-spirited, and I'm in what I would describe as a neo-hippie. And so it's interesting that these days, you know, my father figure is at a point where he's sort of like, there's certain things that he's, you know, worried and stressing about. And then I'm the one telling him, man, baby, you gotta chill, man. You just gotta let your hair down. You gotta go where the wind takes you. And he's just sort of like laughing, because that's such a 60s attitude, and he's laughing about it. And I was, you know, so I was sort of explaining, you know, this is kind of where I'm at, where I'm feeling the influence of the 90s. And my father figure was saying, you know, the people that were hippies, that were free-spirited, they became politicians, and they lost that. They lost, you know, the sense of being free-spirited and you know, letting your hair down and doing what you believe in and doing what you love. And I hadn't really thought about that before. It was really sad, you know. So he was saying that, like, you know, not everyone stayed a hippie. Some people turned into just awful human beings when they became politicians. Please tell me there's a balloon down here. I've trapped myself. Okay. I'm gonna make my way out of here. Drop some of these things. I really need to get caught up on that. I'll slap your tallywhacker. Okay, I'll get. Let me go ahead and just not die. Let me pop a couple more balloons. I need to get caught up on the chat here pretty far. This is why I want to get that. However, people put. I think this is burst breath. Yeah, this one's good. You need to combo that with faster stuff though, because it's pretty slow. Admittedly, I was probably better off with the other weapon. Nope. Okay, I don't want to get killed here. Yes! Genuinely relieved. I got good experience points. I'm going to get a new weapon. You were born, Michael Gutierrez. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. You were born in 95. Does that count? Yeah, absolutely. You're a child of the 90s, so you're a... Congratulations, like me, you're a neo-hippie. Let's see. Let's see. Elkin. Please tell me it's going to be a Nintendo 64 ROM, or will it just look like the N64? It's just going to look like the N64. And I want to make N64 games. Maybe in the far, far future, I'll make a port of Silver Falls 64 that'll be like a stripped down, simplified version. But the reason being is if I make a 64 game, I won't be able to monetize it. I won't be able to make money out of it. And Silver Falls 64 is going to be a massive game. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a mainline title. And I need to be able to keep the series financially viable. So if I committed, you know, a year of development time or half a year to a game and then couldn't make money out of it, it would be very problematic for me. Let me go ahead and, let's see. I might just... Oh no, he doesn't even have a ton of health. I think the enemies were just low level that time. Restore some health when... Oh! I remember why this guy's so good. This is this guy's whole deal. Look at his special ability. His special regenerator is he restores some health when he uses a special attack. I'm going to level that up. Nice. So this guy can regenerate health whenever he wants. All you do is use your special attack, and he gets some health back. So this is a cool guy. This is a fun guy. And again, if you got a high score, if you got a high score, you're going to get this guy. Let's hang out with Maverick for a little while. Let's see what Maverick's up to. Awakening, let's see. Hey, good to see you. You have to add yourself to one of your game's Mortal Kombat style, but instead of saying Toasty, you say chill, baby. Yeah, of course. Chill, baby! And that's it. That's it. I'm the chill baby guy. People won't know who I am, but they'll play the game and they'll know me as the chill baby guy. MasterCar77, where do you get inspiration for your games from? I actively set out to avoid drawing any inspiration from any games or movies or any other media for my games, not just Silver Falls, but all my other games that I'm developing. I actively set out to draw inspiration only from my life. So I'm a massive road trip fan. I consider myself a part-time adventurer, and that's when I'm not working on my games, I spend time in my car driving around, finding new places, just adventuring. Sometimes you run into misadventure, you run into trouble, and hey man, that's part of the adventure. I especially love exploring mountainous areas, and so I draw the inspiration for my games, I draw from my personal feelings, thoughts of wonder and excitement that I feel when I'm in my car exploring and I see something or I meet someone and I'm talking with someone and I have a thought or a feeling. Those are the things that drive me in terms of my inspiration for my games. Obviously, when I was younger, I would say things like, oh, I want to make a game like Resident Evil, I want to make a game like Breath of Fire, I want to make a game like Final Fantasy. But as you grow and you experience more of the world and you become your career, you professionally become someone who has to create. There's a huge difference between creation and producing something, just producing something. Because people who just produce something, they don't necessarily have the ability to create. They generally don't necessarily have the ability to create something new. They just copy trends, they copy something they like, whether they know that they're copying or not. Often they don't even realize they're copying things. They think that they're just creating something new. But you have to actively develop the ability to black out the things that you enjoy, to put yourself in a sort of a mental deprivation chamber and to understand those are the things that I like. I need to make sure that they do not influence my process when creating and designing. It's difficult. I would say it takes decades to cultivate that ability, and it's something that you need to keep working on like anything else. So my inspiration comes from living life, man. You got to get out there, you got to meet people, you got to talk to people. I like making friends with strangers. I like hanging out in small gold mining towns, in mountain pioneer towns. I like hanging out in interest groups and clubs. I like meeting people in bars and just talking about, people's lives, and playing pool with strangers and hanging out at campsites, uh, playing guitar and auto harp and banjo for people I've never met before, playing songs and hanging out with strangers and just spending time with people out in the real world and exploring. I know I'm saying these things like it does sound like I'm a wandering hippie, but it's that excitement. It's my passion for life. It's my sense of wonder, and it's excitement to see more and do more with life. That is 100% actively where I draw inspiration for my games. A number of times on my adventures in real life, I ran into misadventure. Some dangerous situations occurred, and sometimes in those situations, I'll draw more actively on those situations, and I would say, look, if I just embellish this a little bit, and then I changed a few things on something that's happened to me in real life, I can just use that as a basis for something interesting that could happen in the games. So I think that's fun. But there's never a situation where it's like, oh, here's a friend of mine. I'll create a new character and base it on this friend of mine, or I'll create a new character and base it on a person I met. I never do that. I have never done that, and I never will. Because if you do that, you destroy your ability to create something new and interesting, and you paint yourself into a corner. So it's very important to me that I constantly cultivate my ability to create. Because if you stagnate, if you're comfortable with your ability to create, you're going to start making generic garbage. You're going to start repeating the things that you've done, and you'll become a parody of what you were in the past. So it's important to keep an open, or to keep focused, and have a strong understanding of what you're doing when you're creating. So here's my laser sword. Legacy of Darkness is my favorite Castlevania game. Nice, nice. Look, I love the vibe of Castlevania games. I think they're just so fun. They're so great. You just want to soak up. You want to soak up the vibes. That's what it's all about. Um, let's see. Elkin. Cthulhu reached his tentacle into Jarrell's brain and gave him just enough madness with his touch to create this glorious world. Look, there are moments where I'm creating something, and I've come up with an idea for Silver Falls. There are moments where I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thinking like, is this too inappropriate? Is this pushing it too far? But I kind of think back to the 90s where the media that they created, some things they pushed a little too far, and it still made it out to the kids. And the way that I see it is you got to show people something interesting about the world. The world isn't squeaky clean. The world isn't perfect. There's some things in the world that make you think, hey, is this right? This seems like this doesn't seem like it's appropriate. But it's that sense of, it's a little bit sense of danger and intrigue that I think makes certain things interesting to us. And sometimes you see things like the clip from Animaniacs, where Dottie comes in, she's carrying the artist, formerly known as Prince, and then Yakko looks at her, and he says, no, fingerprints, not fingerprints. And then Dottie looks at the camera and goes, And I think, oh, shoot. That's not good. That's not for kids. You can't put that in there. And it made it into a kid's cartoon. So, big yikes to that. I'm going to give that 10 yikes out of 10 yikes for me. It's a maximum on the yikes meter. Michael Gutierrez, Silver Falls, Super Silver Falls sounds neat. Thanks. I'm really excited about it. Again, it's a little lower priority on the story, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Since we're all hanging out here, just hanging out and having fun on the stream. Super Silver Falls stars 3 characters. You've met one of the protagonists from Super Silver Falls. She's been playable in Galaxy Bound Curse, so you can recruit one of the characters from Super Silver Falls. And actually, Galaxy Bound Curse takes place shortly after Super Silver Falls. One of the the events of Super Silver Falls were referenced in 3 Down Stars. So from the very beginning of the series, 3 Down Stars is the first game. From the very beginning of the series, I had already planned Super Silver Falls, and I had written the events of Super Silver Falls. So characters, one of the characters, one of the protagonists is referenced heavily in Three Down Stars, and another of the third protagonist in Super Silver Falls. I think so far we've met him. We've met him in one of the games in the series, and you've met him in Heavy Shadow, the novel. So, yeah, they're already the protagonists from Super Silver Falls are already heavily connected in the story that we've seen so far. The characters in Super Silver Falls interact with the mechanic, and in many ways, how in this game you sort of bring me some machine parts. The Super Silver Falls protagonists have to collect machine parts for the mechanic, and the mechanic gives them tools which you rely on heavily, more so than any other game in the series. The tools that you get from the mechanic heavily affect your mobility. So the three playable characters in Super Silver Falls, their mechanic tool lets them navigate the environment in very different ways. So there we go. That's a little bit. So there's 8 breaks in time, which I'm working on as well. It's a little bit lower priority, but if I can get these games launched, I think in the middle of 2025 I might start 8 breaks in time. So let's see. Stathio, let's see. With my game, I plan on making. I've written a ton of random dialogue lines that just sound interesting and fitting. Not totally sure where, if I'll use them, but it helps with the world building tone. Absolutely. It's important if you can get that dialogue written ahead of time. It gives you time to build everything around that and make sure everything's cohesive. You want to make sure everything makes sense and within the context of the world that the dialogue makes sense. So it's good that you've written that. It gives you time to really process it and think about it. So yeah, good approach on that. Michael Gutierrez. I myself have a hacked Vita. By the way, same with 2DS XL. There's so much you can do with homebrew enabled stuff. It's so cool. You want to hack a Wii U. I can't discuss that stuff. It probably doesn't matter so much these days because the 3DS and Wii U is they're no longer supported. So yeah. Oh, Super Pixel Pals. Great. Okay, I have to do. Okay, Pixel Pals for Ben. Pixel. If I say your real name and you don't want me to use your real name, please let me know in the comments, because I mean a lot of you I just talk to on a daily basis on Discord. So, but I don't know if you want to have like a secret, like a Batman situation going on here. So please let me know if you don't want me to say your real name. Let's see here. I've had my coffee sitting here. I think it's going to be room temperature. I totally forgot about it. Okay, let's see. So, BGXNP. I've typed it in the wrong spot. BGXNP. Okay, here's the. I'll do your 2 codes here. Super Pixel Pals Y J R L M, and your second one is a JFOAM. Hey, you got a real word in there, J-Foam. Whoa, you got a real word. GIIGJ. There we go. I'm going to catch up with the... hey, Silver Sonic, good to see you. I'm going to catch up with the chat here. Oh, Spicy, let me do a new one for you. Okay, Spicy, I'm getting another code for you. Okay, CBQSY. I need to get a bigger... I keep the chat on a side window here, but it's kind of small. And I need to get a bigger one. ZEKQV. I think that's it. I hope I got that right. Let's see. Spicy. I assume I can save the code to input at a later date as long as it links to my link code. Yeah, there's no time. There's no time on this. So, yeah. Do you always dress cool or just for vids? So, do I always dress cool? I don't always wear a tie, but I have a collection of old ties. I like to go out and find ties that I think are really neat. These are from the 60s. I actively find stuff that's from the 60s and 70s because I think it's cool. I think it's just a cool look. The majority of my whatever's in my wardrobe, it's either going to be a plaid shirt or it's a three-piece suit. I have a bunch of clothes that look like they came from like an old-timey pioneer town because I often when I go exploring, I don't like buying clothes from like just like standard shops because I think they're kind of boring. And they're getting more expensive, and it's kind of like I'm paying more and more money for clothes that are just really boring. So often when I'm exploring small pioneer towns, gold mining towns, mountain towns, I'll often go into like the little thrift shops or what that they have there, where someone's great grandpa died and they just chucked they donated the clothes to these thrift shops. So I'll pick up clothes from there, and I think I end up with really old clothes, and I think they're just cool. I think the clothes look cool. I think they're comfortable and easy to wear. So I don't always wear a tie, but this is work for me. This is part of my work. So I think it's important that you dress appropriately and you show respect for the people that you're working with. You guys are kind of like my coworkers in a way, You're my supporters, but you're kind of like my coworkers as well. So, I want to be able to dress appropriately and dress for your workplace, You don't wear a tuxedo if you're a lumberjack kind of thing, You dress for the job. Trello only dresses up on days that end in Y. Snee Vegas TV, you were born in 91. Congratulations, you're a neo-hippie like me. Good old Maverick Moose. Hey, let's see what Bull's up to. You should do that, but say bummer whenever you lose. That haunted me during development of Ghoul Busters, because I had to make the game, easier and easier over time, because in general with Ghoul Busters, I started with making levels as hard as possible, and then I dialed them down a little bit. But, during testing, I heard that a lot. I heard bummer a lot. One of my advice to people who are developing games, you're going to have to do a lot of testing. So when you're testing your game, turn the audio off, or it's going to drive you insane. Put on music, put on different music. Just find music from anywhere else. Listen to any other music. Do not turn up the audio on your game that you're testing, because you will go insane. You will lose your sanity. You'll wake up in some mountain hotel somewhere with a typewriter. You won't even know how you got the typewriter. You won't even know where you got the ink ribbons for the typewriter. So you will go insane. Turn off the audio when you're testing games that you're developing. Bull needs a ranged weapon. I forgot to give him a ranged weapon. So let's see, protect the goat. I'm going to waste my shield because I want to drink the item before I pick up another weapon here. Okay. Okay, let's check that. Let's see. A certain podcaster said a good way to get inspiration is to lay in a $2,000 deprivation tank and take some DMT thoughts. So I've never been in a deprivation tank. I don't actually know what DMT is. I'm gonna assume that DMT stands for a demilitarized town. I'm not big on mind-altering substances. I'm not gonna tell you what's right and what's wrong because I'm not your mother, and that's for your mother to do. So, mind-altering substances, I'm not a fan of that myself personally. But if that's your thing, man, hey, you do you. You gotta do what you enjoy as long as you're not hurting anyone. And just chill, baby, I don't know what DMT is, so I think I'm gonna have a hard time making a judgment on that. But I don't know if sitting in a deprivation tank is how you get inspiration. For me personally, I think the best way to get inspiration for anything is just live your life. Get out there and live. Do something, Explore the world, see something that you haven't seen, do something that you haven't done, go skydiving, go bungee jumping, experience something set out to experience something that you haven't experienced yet. And I'd say that's how you're going to get inspiration. You'll find it. You will find the inspiration. Interstellar arachnoids. Let's see, Elkin. I was just thinking about that Animaniacs clip. Yikes for every finger. Westing Tiger. For Silver Falls 64, will you use skinned mesh renders for characters or connected chunks like many early N64 games? Very good question, Westing Tyler. I'll be using chunks. So I won't use any skinned meshes for Silver Falls 64. I'll be using vertex shading. So I won't, like this, use physically based rendering that takes into account reflections and shadows and advanced lighting. So I won't have that. I'll use vertex based lighting with chunks. There won't be skinned mesh renders on Silver Falls 64. Western Tyler, I get inspiration by listening to music after eating a big meal while typing in text files. That's a great way to do it. I hate saying this because it's important to be a positive role model, and you sort of help promote positive habits. Guys, I love going and grabbing a big juicy oily burger and French fries. So, it's not. I don't want to say like, oh yeah, just eat burgers and fries and whatever, only eat fast food. I love it. It's good. It hits a spot, and sometimes that's what you need to just relax, and you get your mind just sort of relaxed. You're just enjoying this big juicy burger. And you know what? If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. That's how I feel. And sometimes, like that's inspiration enough to just sit, have a nice meal. And when I say nice, I mean like junky, just something you enjoy. It's not good for you, but at the same time, it's nice. It's comfort food, and not all the time. I don't do that all the time, but man, is it nice, So I get you. I get where you're coming from. Awakening. Fun side quest idea for Silver Falls 64 might be to have one kind of like a wave race level, like Pilot Wings and so on. I haven't done like a racing game like that, and I'd really like to. That'd be so fun, That'd be really cool. I'm gonna try and get some experience points on Bull here. Another space sword. Well, let me see where I'm at. Okay, I'm gonna increase movement speed. What? Where am I at? Oh, I've already leveled those up. I see. I'll give him one of those. Oh, I'll step out of the way. We'll watch this event, and then I'll catch up on the chat. Chris B. Hey, good to see you, Chris. You're just in time. We're here hanging out. You're on time. Hey, Spicy Cacao. Good to see you. Take care. We'll see you. I hope I got it to you in time. Okay, Fred. Where have you been? Can we just stop for a second and look at this guy's arms? Can you see? Look at this guy. Man. Here's a fun bit of trivia. In Undertakers, in Game B, pancakes are a health item that can spawn randomly during Game B, and they are a health item. Also, they give you bonus points. So this is the kind of storytelling that's very interesting to me, and it's sad. It's sad in a way to where when you experience Undertakers, you're experiencing those events with Bull. And I used the Atari 2600 gameplay style as a storytelling device because there is a sense of innocence attached to that. When you look at an old game like that, you can't help but feel like, oh, I was a kid and I was playing games like this. So you are placed in that mindset of being young and being a kid and everything is sort of weird and new and exciting. And that's how Bull feels at the time of the story. And the fact that you experienced that horrifying event with him, it's, you know, the most important life-changing event. You see where he is now at his life. And I think it's sad that you see that he has no interest in making friends with anyone. And even Willie, who was his best friend in Undertakers, and Willie's playable in Undertakers as well. The fact that Bull just doesn't care, and there's this resentment as well in there. And I don't want to spoil Undertakers for anyone that hasn't played it yet, because I'm bringing Undertakers to the Switch. We'll have a brand new game mode in it as well. But this sort of storytelling is interesting to me. And what's so interesting with Bull as well, I think he's such a fun and interesting character to write, because if you play through his events, because he has significantly more in story in this events, and then if you play through other characters in this as well, Bull says, you know, you saw that line of dialogue where it's like, we don't have time to sit around, you know, reading comic books and drinking coffee, which is what he was doing with Willie in Undertakers. And I don't want to spoil anything in this game. I just want you guys to explore and enjoy the story yourself. But you see that that's not exactly true. And I think what's so tragic about Bull is he says he doesn't want that. He says he doesn't have time to sit around and drink coffee and read comic books around a campfire. But as you experience his story here, you learn, wait, that is what he wants. He does want that, you know, and you know, if things could just be better, that's just what he wants to do. And so the fact that he says that, I don't want friends, I don't need friends, is he lying about that as well? And I think that's what makes him interesting and sad in a way, and as a tragic character. So yeah, I gotta get caught up with the chat now. Snee Vegas, your real name is Ima. Hi. Ima Heine. Ima Heine, everyone. Hey, everyone. Ima Heine? Ina Heine? Ima Heine. Anyone? Ima Heine in the audience? Ima Heine out there? Okay. Oh, you're heading out? Okay, see you, Ben. Okay, take care. Good to see you. Catch up again. My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but everyone calls me Giorgio. How do you play the music for that clip? Can I push a sound? I hit a sound thing and then it plays that. Giovanni Giorgio. Have you thought about streaming on Twitch? I'm sure you will find a nice audience there. I tried the other day. I'm still learning it. So I did once the other day to sort of figure out. So I physically know how to, but I still need to learn more about the culture. And what works, what doesn't work, and what people expect out of Twitch, and the right way to engage and interact on Twitch. I'm still learning that. Gino say, I'm dressed like garbage. Truly, I'm the ideal coworker. Elkin, having played so much of Ghoul Busters, it still haunts my nightmares. Silver Sonic. I hacked my Wii, and I'm glad I did, because I played so much over the years that the CD reader has started to fail on me. My Wii CD drive has failed as well, so I can only use it for homebrew. So homebrew has saved me in that situation. So now you're playing ISOs that run through an external hard drive. Same. Elkin, I play my Wii games off a 2 terabyte hard drive. Nice. Saves wear on my disk drives. Lets you play hacks. And my Wii was given to me as a Christmas gift, so it's got sentimental value, so I don't want to sell it or replace it. At some day, maybe I'll replace the CD drive, just, for old time's sake, but sport shoes, I just saw it. We're going, and gonna do some sick kicks is what we're doing. We're doing sick kicks. These enemies are very high level. I just need to refill some generators. That goat doesn't seem hung Wizard World. I've never once successfully protected that damn goat. You need a character that has a lot of shield energy, and then you need to put yourself out there, man. You got to get yourself out there and protect that goat. So I love the sport shoes because you can do some sick combos like that. It's easier to execute this combo train than combo train. What the heck is I obviously meant to say combo chain, you know? So what you want to do is build up your combo with your sport shoes, and then you cap off your combo with your heavy attacks. I'm getting killed because the enemy is high level. You're not supposed to engage when enemies are high level. You're supposed to fill up. You're supposed to fill up the generators. So I'm gonna get killed. Super Smash. Okay, I'm gonna do Super Smash's code. Looks like I missed your code. Super Smash, if I missed your code, okay. Super Smash, GCVLD. GCVLD, okay. DFPJU, there we go. Silver Sonic, yeah, I wish I had figured out that it was so easy to play games on the Wii off the hard disk drive. If I had done it much earlier, the disk drive would still be working. Yeah, but I don't know. Has anyone ever replaced the disk drive in their Wii? Is it? Because I'd like to hear if anyone has done that. Oh, hi Nukatha. Yeah, code linker today is Karn. So post your code linker code, and I'll get you Karn to Lance. Let's see. This is one of the new tracks. I had so much fun writing the soundtrack, guys. This was so cool. And you know what? I actually, I stood up with my Flying V electric guitar, and I was like, you know, I had my hair down, and I was sort of like, you know, throwing my hair around, and I was like, this is how you perform 80s music. And, you know, I think you can hear that energy in the songs I was playing. Bull would benefit from flexing grease to increase the hitbox sizes. I'm kind of not paying attention. I'm trying to catch up. Hey, Raiko130, good to see you. Don't forget your code linker content. Put your link code in the comment section below, and I'll get you an unlock code. Silver Sonic, I'm just happy the console itself is working perfectly. Yeah, it's great. You know, there's such a real vibe to it. And so the era of games in Silver Falls that we have the least of is early 2000s, but coming up soon, especially with Duck Season on the DS, we're going to start seeing Silver Falls stories set in the early 2000s, and I'm so excited to create games and stories set in that era, because I'm going to style match the Wii and the DS and the games that are from that era. You know, the UI for my games is going to look like it's Windows XP, you know, just Frutiger Arrow. Everything is going to feel like tangible, and this sort of nature futurism that we were doing with UI, like everything was like round and bubbly, and everything was a green field and blue skies. That's something that I want to challenge when I do my Silver Falls games set in the early 2000s. So I'm excited to do that. Westing Tyler, as far as spooky N64 looking games go, the sum of Puppet combo games and also Helltown have really cool retro looks, vibes to them. I'll look that up. Puppet combo, Helltown, I'll look that up. I have not heard of those. Yeah. So Snee Vegas got me. Gino's a boo Willy. Gino's a so it looks like Gino's a is Team Bull here and not Team Willy. Yeah, for anyone that sort of hasn't played Undertakers yet, I don't want to spoil it because Undertakers is coming to the Switch. So, I mean, Willie's kind of a big reason why Bull is the way that he is. Ally homies hate Willie. Mastercard 77 pancakes. Why not tacos as well? Maybe that's going to be for a different game. Every game's got to have its identity, its vibe, and one game might be all about them tacos. I'm a big taco guy, actually. You know what I love doing is getting all the fresh ingredients and then making a big taco spread on my kitchen table, and then sticking taco shells in the oven, heating it up real nice, and then just going. I'm gonna shove tacos in my face hole until I feel sick. That's kind of my favorite way to have tacos. I like them nice and fresh, nice crispy veggies in there, and I can pile on as much guacamole and sour cream as I want. So that's how I like. How do you guys do your tacos? How do you like them? I like them without limit. I like to shove them down my face hole as much as I can, and I like them with heaps of sauce. Westing Tyler, what tools do you use to make music? I use Studio One. So Studio One just has. I've used so many different digital audio workspaces. The one that I like the most is Studio One. It's the one that I really click with. It has features that are just they just work the way that I want them to. It took about like 1.5 to 2 years to really get accustomed to the interface though, because I was so used to using other interfaces. Eventually though, I figured it out and I really enjoyed it. My coffee's not too cold still. It's all right. Coffee break's nice. So, yeah, I use Studio One. There's a couple like sort of VSTs that it comes with that I use because you have a significant amount of control over that instrument's voice, and so you can really shape it into something interesting and unique. A significant amount of my music is recorded with live instruments that I play live. I'll go ahead and grab one now. So the soundtrack for Duck Season will be a banjo orchestra soundtrack. It is all banjos played and recorded live by me. There might be 1 or 2 tracks that use a little bit of synth, but in general the entirety of Duck Season is going to be banjo orchestra. So I've been collecting antique banjos. I've been building custom banjos and modifying banjos into custom banjos. So I have a huge selection of different types of banjos, and the Duck Season soundtrack will be all banjos. Let's see, Elkin. Twitch is a way bigger audience, but Twitch itself is a lot more restrictive than YouTube. Oh, okay. Jinuze, we hate him. Why we drink coffee and read comics we by the campfire. Elkin, can you equip shorts? I hear they're fun and easy to wear. You can equip shorts. I don't own a single pair of shorts. The majority of my pants are these sort of these comfortable slacks, a couple denim overalls, and some jeans. So I don't own a single pair of shorts. If someone invited me to go swimming, I would show up in a pair of jeans. I have no shorts. Oh, Super Smash, it worked this time. Great. Maybe last time I put a wrong letter in. Raiko. Oh, I didn't pick up the game yet. Probably won't until the end of the month. Hey, that's all right. No rush. You can come back in the comments section, or you can send a DM anywhere when you do want to get the Code Linker game. Just let me know that you've picked it up and you missed out on the Code Linker content, and I'll get you caught up. Silver Sonic, question. Does the Code Linker you're giving here also work with 3 Down Stars or the original Undertakers on the 3DS? Because unfortunately for now, those are the only 2 games of yours I own. You know what? I'll give you some Code Linker content then. Yeah. Yeah, Silver Sonic, put your link codes in there, and I'll generate some content for you. You're hyped for Duck Season. Hey, Envy, good to see you. Undertakers has a deceptively good story. You've never had tacos before, Envy? It's okay. Here's the appeal of the taco, right? You have a crunchy shell, while you have soft, crisp vegetables inside. I've got a phone call here, but I'll have to decline that for now. You have a crispy shell. You have warm meat on the inside, which should be it shouldn't be dry. It should be succulent, juicy meat. It's prepared well, so that's provides some warmth. You have a sense of coolness from the sauces like the salsa, guacamole, sour cream. You have a crispiness from things like lettuce. You can have some resistance in the form of tomatoes because that gives it some form and volume. And you can add really whatever you want to it. But for me, that's I like to keep it simple. So lettuce, tomato, and meat, and then of course you have a little bit of sweetness and tartness from the cheese as well, and that adds some volume to it. And if you can melt the cheese, maybe, I don't know, but normally you just sprinkle the cheese on there on the top, the grated cheese. So and all of that comes together with this crunchy shell, so you have an impact when you bite into it. It's the combination of textures and different kinds of palate influencers. All of the ingredients influence your palate in a way that make the other ingredients heightened in terms of the flavor values. So that is what is ideal about the taco. It's premium. I rate tacos 10 crunches out of 10. Let's see. Elkin, tons of beef, tons of cheese, lettuce, a big glob of sour cream, no beans, no tomatoes, no salsas. Hey, that's good, man. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Let's see. Silver Sonic. Undertakers is a great little game, and I feel it's actually pretty damn creepy too. The minimalist Atari-like graphics and sounds make it have a pretty creepy atmosphere, and I love it. Here's what I sort of feel when I think of an Atari game. I think of sitting in the dark and you can hear crickets chirping outside, and the only light is coming from your CRT TV. You're sitting on the floor trying to figure out what to do in an Atari game, and I think it lends itself to that creepiness because that's very much how I enjoyed the Atari when I was a kid. I played a lot of Enduro, the driving game, obviously a lot of Pac-Man. Unfortunately, I played a ton of E.T. when I was a kid, and I knew dang well, I was very young, and I understood that E.T. was worse than Zelda, because I had Zelda on the NES and the SNES, and I couldn't process it because my brain didn't have enough information, but I was very young, but I still understood that E.T. was not good, and Zelda was good. So, you understand it, even if you don't understand why, you understand. Let's see. Elkin, I'm begging him to make a 2600 version of Undertakers, or at least a 7800 version with 2600 visuals. So I actually do have that in development. So I've started a ROM. I have a character, I have the bull graphic, and you can walk around. And that's it. So one day I will launch a 2600 ROM. It's just going to be simple. It's going to be Game B. I can't do Game A because it wouldn't fit on a cartridge, and I don't have a way to draw text on the actual 2600 because that takes a huge amount of memory, and it's too text heavy. So Game A wouldn't work, but Game B would if it was just high score based. So at some point I would like to work on that. It's just something fun, just a fun little game, but I will have it someday. It just hasn't been a priority right now. But I do have an Atari 2600. I have the bull graphic. You can walk around on the screen, and that's it. Westing Tyler. Elkin, do you mean a modern game in the style like Faith, or something that runs in the Atari? Yeah, I have a ROM in development that will actually run on the Atari. I've only spent a couple hours on it. It's not a big project. And one day I'll upload it and share it for free. One day. Envy. You also own every game on the 3DS, but you don't have a Switch, therefore you can't play a Switch game. That's a bummer. Hopefully the price of the Switch drops when Nintendo announces their new console at some point. and it'll be easier for people to pick up. A Super Smash. Once I get a flash cart for 3DS, I'll talk about Duck Season for DS. Yeah, that's great. You know, you can use. I have to be careful about what I discuss and talk about because I'm a business partner with Nintendo. But you know, there are ways to play homebrew games on the DS where you don't have to modify the system. So yeah, you can play games. You don't have to modify your DS or 3DS. So when I launch Duck Season, I'll have the DS ROM. I don't have my console here with me. You'll be able to play Duck Season on the DS for free. And I would say it's not appropriate to play on an emulator because you will need the touch screen for Duck Season. As a DS game, you know, I think a good DS game should rely on the touch screen. And that will be a prequel to the Switch game. The Switch Duck Season will use, it'll be totally graphically overhauled, you know, totally different from the DS game. And it'll be a sequel that's set, you know, like 10 years or so after the DS, something like that. I think 12 years actually, so something. Silver Sonic, let me get you your code for 3 down stars. Silver Sonic. And just to double check, oh, Silver Sonic, is this North America or Europe? Because this code, this Silverfall 64 content will only work if your 3 down stars is North America, because I was able to get an update rolled out to North America. Would you let me know in the comments? KFTKL. Put it in there anyway. But actually, I think if you send me your Undertakers code, I think Undertakers, does accept content from 64. Envy. Also, the way you describe tacos makes me want to try it. You're good at taco advertising. You know, it's easy to talk about things that you feel very passionate about, and oh boy, am I passionate about tacos. If someone's having a Taco Tuesday, call me over, because I'm there. I'm already there for Taco Tuesday. Envy, when I was a kid, I played the PS2 because that was the console at my time. But sitting on the floor trying to figure out a Scooby-Doo game was creepy yet cool. Yeah, I like being able to interact with the console. Sitting on the floor and being close to it is like a form of interaction. And that's partly why I'm so passionate about the Skylanders games, is that you were directly interacting with the game in a physical way. And you know, I just love that. Let's see here. Hey, so again, if you're new to the series, Galaxy Bound Curse is my Game Boy game. It's absolutely free. Go to the Silver Falls website, and you can do the code linker. So this is one of the main characters from my Game Boy game called Galaxy Bound Curse. So you can go to my website, get Galaxy Bound Curse for free, and then you can do code linker yourself, and you can bring Fred over from Galaxy Bound Curse into this game. So if you're new to the series, go ahead and do that. Go to the silverfallsgame.com, grab the Game Boy Color ROM for free. You can play it any way you like, and it's got code linker content. I might upgrade my rifle, make it stronger. Cool. What's my power level now? 10's pretty good. Alright, let's see what upgrades. A movement speed is important for Fred. Let's see. Oh, cool. Increase my power. Gun Expert is absurd. Gun Expert will make you very strong. I need to get some experience points. I'm just going to go in, beat up some baddies, get some experience points, and level up. Westing Tyler. It'd be pretty cool to make an Atari game that runs on hardware. What language is that? Basic? I think I'm writing it in Basic. So I'd have to double check. I don't remember the software I'm using off the top of my head. And you know, I don't want to take that much credit for it because it's the people that made this software and it compiles your ROM for you. Those are the people that actually deserve the credit, you know. So I'm not doing anything special by making an Atari game. There are people out there who have made it way easier to create an Atari game Those people are the heroes. They deserve all the credit. I'm just using the software that they created so that people can make Atari games. I'm just gonna take down as many enemies as I can and just get some experience points and hopefully level up a bit. Speaking of Atari 2600, I wonder if you'll get Atari to patch your game cart for 2600 plus. Who knows? Because I am making games for Atari now, but Silver Falls, you know, in terms of the agreement that I have with Nintendo, I told them, it's just like, we don't have it on paper. They're like, Nintendo isn't forcing me to keep my games exclusive to them, but they said that they would help me get my games onto the 3DS and Wii U even after they ended support for 3DS and Wii U. But I said, look, I'll keep my games exclusive to you if you'll just keep the door open for me. And they said yes. So I don't want to betray Nintendo by putting a commercial Silver Falls game on another title when I've already agreed to keep the series exclusive to them. So I won't be launching commercial titles on other platforms. But for the free homebrew games that I can just give out for free, yeah, I'll put Silver Falls on anything, really. And I do have stuff that's coming to Atari VCS pretty soon. Let's see. Speaking of Atari 2600, let's see, Silver Sonic. I remember very well how it was playing old Atari games sitting on the floor at a friend's house with all the lights out back when we were kids. And Undertakers sent me back to those days. I'm so glad to hear that, Silver Sonic. I'm so glad to hear that. That's the vibe that I wanted to share with people, because it was such a fun period. And it's something that we can't recreate that, you know, like you can't duplicate it, right? Because that time is over now. But I think you can still share a vibe and you can have a connection, and that's what I want my Silver Falls games to do, is just have that sort of vibe. And that's why I create games that either style match other consoles or actually run on other consoles. So Silver Sonic, I'm so glad to hear that was your experience with Undertakers. And that's because that's how I enjoyed Atari games, you know. I'm going to get out of the way here. So this shirt, hold on, that, I can't point that far, right? It's this stupid, ridiculous high collar. The collar comes up to there and it flares out like that, and it's so low cut. It cuts down to underneath his navel, so the shirt's open like that. You can't really see it that well, but there's other character events where you see his shirt from other angles, and it's just like really satiny material that's shimmery, and then it has this gaudy gold border. It was the ugliest shirt I could design for a brand, and I thought it's perfect for the 80s. For an 80s rock star, the ugliest shirt that I could imagine, this is what this guy's gonna wear. And he shows up, and I don't know, if you sort of look at my social media, you can see close-ups of the shirt as well. It's the ugliest thing that I can imagine. And it's this fun running gag in the story where, you know, he meets the other characters, and they're all kind of like, dude, what is up with your shirt? And he's just so pleased with it because it was designed for him by a European designer named Gospelio Giodella. So Gospelio Giodella is some fabulous fashion designer who makes just the ugliest shirts that I can think of. Oh, just Gospelio Giodella. There we go. Not again. Not again. Sorry, cowboy, but you ain't riding out anywhere else tonight. So we've met Bran a couple times. Bran appears in Galaxy Bound Curse, which again you can grab from the Silver Falls game website. You can grab Galaxy Bound Curse, the Game Boy ROM. He appears in Gaiden, Deathly Delusion Destroyers at the Diner. You can encounter Bran, and he's just an interesting character to write. I mean, I think all of my characters are interesting to write for in their own ways, and if they weren't interesting, then they wouldn't be a character in Silver Falls. So he's quite tragic in a way that for some reason when you check in with him in all the games, he's always going through the middle of a divorce. But he's a rock star, you know, and it's not unusual for that to happen to rock stars anyway. Ooh, let me. I gotta get caught up on the chat here. Homebrew games do work on the Atari 2600 Plus. That seems like a console I would like, but right now I just don't have time to play any games, so I'm not picking up any new consoles right now. I recently picked up the VCS, but I've got that for development, so I'm really excited to bring games to that. This thing is so cool. I think this is so neat, this controller. It's so cool. I've got a lot of cool things to say about this. It's really fun. It's got lights that you can control programmatically. Very cool. Snee Vegas. I'm a Heine. I'm a Heine says a used Switch Lite should be very affordable soon. I see them on Facebook Marketplace for pretty cheap, sometimes around like 50, 60 bucks, Switch Lites. But again, you want to be very careful on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Make sure that you're meeting in a public place and never trust anyone to just ship things to you, because I see scammers all the time that say that they'll ship you something on Facebook Marketplace and they don't send it. If someone on Craigslist offers to meet you at like an abandoned farm, and if they say something like, oh, it was my uncle's and don't worry about it, no one's been on the property for years, no one will even know we're out there, usually that's a red flag. So if that's where you're meeting someone for your Craigslist, maybe give it a miss. Silver Sonic, when you first bought it and played Undertakers with the lights out and earphones on, the damned Undertakers made me jump all the time. And that was fun, because making music for the games is huge for me. And knowing that, oh, I can't really make a typical soundtrack with Undertakers. And I had to write that chase music for the Undertakers. I had to write it to make it sound like it was actually coming out of an Atari system. And so I only had I had to make the clip 3 seconds, of music, something like 3 to 5 seconds of music, and that just had to be the hook, for the Undertakers attacking. Oh, Silver Sonic. Okay. Look, Silver Sonic, I don't think that code will work for the 3-ounce stars, but for Undertakers, It should work. So please put your code linker for Undertakers. It should work. Jose, easy to talk about. Nice. Nice. Envy, GBC is really cool. The 8-bit sounds make it creepier. Something about that, you know? It sort of reaches down into our brains when we hear that Game Boy music. It really, it's just, yeah, you just really connect to it. You've been postponing it until now, but you will definitely mod your 3DS soon. Then if I figure out how to play games from other regions, I'll be able to play the games that I miss. I can't discuss that. I can't discuss that stuff. But if you go to the Discord, you can DM some of the users there if you want to discuss that stuff. I personally can't discuss it, you know, because of my professional business connections. Master Car 77, do you like speakers? I like the PreSonus monitors. I don't have a good... oh, I see your code there. Sorry, I'm still catching up with the chat, Silversonic. Okay. Let me see here. I master my music on pretty cheap PC speakers, and then I export it and run it through other sound systems, and then I run it through a couple different kinds of headphones, and I sort of take all that information to, into my final mix. Sorry. Because in general, people aren't going to be listening to this music on big speakers. They'll be listening to it on their Switch speakers or their TV. So that's usually what I prioritize, making it sound good. Okay. VAVBB. EDPHS. Great. Nukatha. This one's for Nukatha. Sorry if I'm a little late here. Get Nukatha's code. Okay, this one's the first one. RTVMA. AXPKR, and then your second one, Nukatha, is EU. You know, guys, I think I will work out how to get the chat on screen. Just it'll make it easier for me to keep up, so I don't accidentally get left behind here. BYHOO. There we go. E Franking. Hi, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Looking forward to your Atari VCS game. Look, I think it's just such a great platform. I really like what Atari's doing with it. I think they're really focusing on just bringing people something cool. You know, really good, solid experiences that pay respect to the legacy of the brand. And I think they're doing a great job with that. So being able to get games onto the VCS is very exciting for me. I'm just looking at my controllers and stuff over there. Elkin, let's see. I dusted off and plugged in my VCS last night specifically for the eventual upcoming Silver Falls VCS game. So again, I'm not going to bring Silver Falls to the VCS, but I have other stuff in development that I'm passionate about, that I'm putting massive effort into. I wish I could show you one game that I'm finishing. It's called Sweet Abominations, but I'm finishing the graphics for it today. That will be coming to the Switch and the VCS, and I'll bring a version of Sweet Abominations to the Vita. With Sweet Abominations, it's a 3D arena battle game in which you start out as a blob and you have 30 seconds to assimilate objects and animals at the beginning of the match. So you absorb those, they become a part of your body, and then you become a Sweet Abomination. And you've got all these appendages coming out of your body, and then you have to battle the other players and knock them out of the arena using these horrifying appendages that are growing out of your body. And it's physics-based. And it's really interesting because at the start of the match, no one knows what their character can do. And you basically have to push every single button on the controller to figure out what your character can do. So just something fun, something you can jump into with your buddies and just have some fun with and enjoy. Nukatha, does Silver Falls have a ski resort? Yes. Yes, it does. There's a poster for it in 3 Down Stars. Let's see. Oh, that's a good one from Elkin. Silver Falls Velvet Cryptid Squad, which sounds luxurious, right? That sounds like people hunt that cryptid because it's got like really fine skin that you can make some nice clothes out of. Oh, my battery's low. When is Sungran coming to Amico? When Tommy Tellerico comes to my house and does a full taco spread for me. He does all the cooking, does all the vegetables, all the prep. Um, when Tommy Tellerico comes to my house and cooks up and serves a full taco spread, that's when I'll bring some games to the Amico. There we go. That's a guarantee. um, okay. Nukatha, yeah, I got both your codes in there. Elkin Fencer, so it's a new IP coming to VCS. Yes, yes, yes. So Sweet Abominations is coming to the VS. That's a new IP. And Neon Starglide. Guys, oh, I'm so excited about Neon Starglide. It just fills me with this developer rage. Like, yeah, I gotta make this. I'm so excited about Neon Starglide. So Neon Starglide, I can't show you um, the what that looks like yet because I haven't deployed it to the Switch. This is really sad, right? So when I'm starting new games, I develop them on a much older version of Unity because the older versions of Unity are significantly better and faster than the new versions of Unity. If I were to start programming and creating a new game in Unity using the new versions, it would slow me down significantly because the new versions of Unity software are pretty bad. They slow down the process significantly. And so I've been developing my new games on old versions of Unity, but they're protected by NDA, so I can't show you that stuff. And also they don't have the Switch graphics yet. So that's why I haven't shown you Sweet Abominations and I haven't shown you Neon Starglide yet, is I'm developing them on old versions of Unity and I haven't fully implemented the graphics for it. I need to wait until the games are basically totally finished development on the older versions of Unity. Then I bring them into the new version of Unity, fix all the stuff that's broken, and even though that takes time, it's still faster than making a new game from scratch in the new versions of Unity, because it's just awful, it's just awful. But Neon Starglide will use, it's inspired, the visuals are inspired by older PlayStation titles. So your character's body parts are made out of like polygonal segments. They're not skinned mesh renders, and it gives it this future retroism, future retro polygonism. There we go. So I would say that Neon Starglide has future retro polygonism as its visual aesthetic, and there's a lot of just like glowing particle effects and neon trails as your characters are traveling through the sky. Neon Starglide is a single player and multiplayer, I would say a battle platform game where you view your characters from behind and you're traveling through the sky. There's platforms that you have to navigate to as you're traversing the sky, and you're trying to make your way to those platforms. But if you're playing a versus mode, you're fighting and you're trying to basically sabotage the other person so they can't get to the next platform. So you have various weapons. So the characters in Neon Starglide are all dynamic. So you have like 40 or 50 blank slots for characters. When you play the Explore mode of Neon Starglide, your character will grow based on how you play the game, based on how good you are at doing certain things, based on the enemies that you defeat and the pickups you get, and then the choices you make when you're purchasing weapons to equip to your character. That character from the single player then becomes a character usable in the multiplayer mode. So every single person, your save file will have a unique roster for Neon Starglide, and I feel that's something that'll be exciting when you go over to your friend's house to play Neon Starglide and their roster is totally different and you get to explore different characters that have different play styles. And also it gives, I mean, this sounds horrible, right? But it gives you this sense of fear, like, oh man, I hope I don't lose my save file because then I'll lose these characters that I really like, you know. But of course, you can back up your save data to the cloud. But it's that sort of uniqueness. Your roster will be totally unique to you. Let's see. Mastercar77, how are you able to work for very long dev sessions? Honestly, it takes a significant amount of discipline and a lot of training. And by training, I mean both physical and mental. So physical training is very important to me. It's important not just with weightlifting, but doing cardio. You have to be in very good physical shape. If you are not in good physical shape, you will not be able to do long development sessions. And when I say long, I mean 130-hour work weeks. That is not just a mental strain, but it's a physical strain as well. So it's important for me that I do a significant amount of hiking, weightlifting. I have a very specific sort of regime when it comes to physical training, and I have to work extremely hard at that because I know that I'll get to a point where I need to do physical training, and then I'll have a period where I'm going to have to do 2 months of 130 hours a week, and at that point I don't have time to do the physical training anymore, but I will be in good enough shape to where I can sustain a heavy workload. And a lot of that also just comes down to self-discipline when it comes to a point where you think, this sucks having to work so much, I'm just staring at a computer screen. You have to develop the ability to stay focused, to stay positive, and any negative thoughts you have, this sucks, I want to stop, it's not worth it, I don't want to do it anymore, I'm so tired, you're going to have to learn to take a deep breath. And it's a real situation of, it's a form of meditation because you're channeling out those negative feelings and you're just staying focused on your objective, and you have to convince your body, you have to convince your mind that you feel positive about what you're doing. Because if you let those negative thoughts, if you let your exhaustion kick in, you will not be able to work. Your body just won't let you focus on the work. So it's a form, it takes discipline, meditation, and good physical conditioning. I'm at a point now where I could, this 130-hour workload, I could probably keep that up for another 2 weeks. And I'm going to need to stop and then resume my physical training after that as well. Because I know that, I know basically where my limits are. Silver Sonic, unfortunately the code doesn't work on Undertakers. Okay, so I think it only works in the North American version. I'm sorry about that, Silver Sonic, so, yeah. New Kotha, your Undertaker's Wii U code worked, but not the 3DS. Bummer. New Kotha, do you have the Europe version? If it's Europe, then it means that it won't work because I wasn't able to add the Silverfall 64 content to the Europe version. Okay. Hey, Obsidian Contraption, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Lee Comstock, your rules don't care about your feelings. Yeah, that's true. Your feelings shouldn't factor into your workload. You just got to push through it. But you need to work smarter, not harder. No, I believe in working both smarter and harder. I work, my whole workflow is as optimized as it can get, especially because I'm developing multiple games at the same time. That's partly how I was able to get so many games done in such a short amount of time, is I was working smarter and harder. I was creating game assets that I was able to use in multiple games. For example, like the 3D models that I used in some games, I used them as the pre-rendered graphics for Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. When it comes to programming, I create my games through frameworks. I don't just create a game, I create a framework, and I'm able to reuse parts of those game frameworks in other games as well. So I think when people say don't work smarter, not harder, I disagree entirely. You need to work as hard as possible, but you need to work both smarter and harder. USA for both. Nukatha, I'll try again. Nukatha, can you put your 3DS one in there as well? I must have typed in something wrong. You look forward to the downhill skiing game in 2030. I can guarantee there are things in development for Silver Falls right now where you guys, there's no way anyone would have guessed that was going to be a game for Silver Falls. Like, kind of like the weirdest thing that I have right now is Silver Falls Fitness, which I've shared, a little bit of details on, it's been referenced heavily in the series already. Like the story of Silver Falls Fitness is already connected to the events and the characters of the series. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that far enough in development for the Wii U in order to launch it. I would have loved to be able to bring Silver Falls Fitness to Wii U, but I just couldn't finish it, or I couldn't get it far enough in development in time. Let's see, Elkin. I was the same. I had an account but never used Discord until I got into Silver Falls and joined that server, and now you're always on Discord. Look, it's just, Discord's a great way to just hang out with people and talk. You know, it's I think the way they sort of organize things makes it easy to sort of keep track of people and you know, the channels that you're on. If you miss like a couple days of conversation, you get left behind, so you know, you just got to check in, you know, and just understand that you're going to miss out on conversations, and then you're going to jump in the middle of certain things, and maybe you won't understand the context of certain conversations, but I think that's fun. MasterCard, you started to work on your game not so long ago, and sometimes, especially the beginning, it's hard to gain focus. That's one of the toughest things, because game development is it's absolutely its own skill. It has all of its own quirks, and it takes time to develop your game development skills. And a lot of that is maintaining focus for long periods. And that's just something that the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. You know, there isn't a trick. There's no easy way to do it. You just have to do it heaps. It's like lifting weights. When you lift weights, you face resistance, you get better at it. When you bike long distances, you get better at biking. And that's the same with game development, is the more you do it, the more resistance you'll have for it, the better you'll get at it. And it's just hard work. You just have to face the hard work for it. And if people tell you, oh, there's an easy way to do it, there are no shortcuts. For any real true skill, there are no shortcuts. You just have to do it. Lee Comstock, you would agree that you should work hard and smart, but not 130 hours a week. That doesn't give you enough hours to sleep. You're right. You should not work 130 hours a week. You shouldn't. You absolutely should not. I'm only doing it because I have like I have personal reasons why I want my studio to be very successful in a short amount of time. And it's probably too personal to share online, you know. I mean, you guys are here and we're chatting, and I'll share stuff with you. It's probably too personal to talk, but I have I mean, this music is like way too aggressive, so I'll just wait until I'm out of here, because it's a little bit too harsh. Doesn't really match the tone of the conversation. But I have good reasons and motivations for working this hard. And a lot of what you do, it comes down to, do you have a reason to do that, you know? Dang it. There's going to be a token down there, I know it. I'm going to miss a token down in the corner. That's okay, there's extra tokens everywhere. Ow. I'm just throwing this out there. It's a Molotov. Maverick Mobile for Switch. That was early on in development. Very early on, I was doing Maverick's odd but incredibly lovable endeavors, I think. And eventually I will get back to that concept. It was just going to be a collection of cute little mini games that you play that are Maverick themed. Nukatha, unironically, brain age concentration training is amazing for developing memory and focus greatly. I have so much fun with the DS brain age games. Did they make a new one? Is that... Okay, I was there earlier. Great. I don't know where the rest of the tokens are. Just just run through this middle section and see. Is that one? Did I see one? There's one. I need that. I'm going to go right here and see if there's other tokens. Terrell works these insane hours, but he's a man of the people. Well, you know, I have personal reasons to, you know, and I understand the limitations of being a solo developer because it's entirely up to me to make these games, to test them. Well, testing, I have people come in to test, but you know, like the real, you know, serious testing work. And then when it comes to marketing and promoting and managing all the business side of things, and then the legal stuff and financial stuff, and then it's tough. But if you want to run a business like that by yourself, you have to put in the hours, and that's all there is to it. So you're asking why I'm, you know, sort of putting all these hours in. It's because this is really personal. It's probably too personal to share. So a close friend of mine is a close friend and mentor, and he gave me the opportunity to work in professional industries, and I was in my early 20s at that point, and he gave me the opportunity to work alongside, you know, industry giants and leaders, and he dropped me in there. He basically picked me up and dropped me in the deep end, and he didn't even say anything. He was just going to see if I sank or swimmed. How's that for you, English majors? Is that? So he dropped me in there with industry giants in professional industry, where these people, you know, they're in their like 60s and 70s, and they've been working in industry for a long time, and they're real professionals. And he brought me in as a technology consultant, and he just showed me by example how to be a professional, how to work with people, how to manage events, how to liaise with and communicate with people on a professional manner. And it was absolutely terrifying because I'm this early 20-something-year-old. I'm working with people who are looking down their nose at me because I'm just a kid, basically. And he helped me learn to be a professional. He taught me, you know, how to deal in situations that are high. These are high-level positions, and you are viewed as the authority. You have to be, you know, the leader of these industries. And he just dropped me in there. And it's because of him that I was able to develop as a professional. I'm able to communicate with all of you, conduct myself in a professional manner, and I'm able to run my business because of what this friend taught me. And it wasn't that long ago that he, just over a text message, revealed that he's got pretty aggressive cancer, and he's got less than a year. So he's not going to make it that much farther. And I promised him, I said, hey man, I'm going to be a huge success. I'm running my own business now. I'm going to show you what a huge success I'm going to be. And I've got less than a year to show him what I can do. So the things that he's taught me, the things that I've learned because of him, I have less than a year to put that into practice. And I've got to... Sorry, guys. Sorry. So, I've got 1 year. I've got to make my business the biggest success it can be. I've got to get everyone around the world talking about my games. I've got to sell big. I've got to sell tons of copies. I've got to get people talking about my games everywhere. And I've got to do it in a way that lines up with my morals and my beliefs. And I want to show him that he didn't waste his time investing in me and teaching me to be a professional and training me. I want to show him what a huge success I can be, and I've only got less than a year. And the last time someone told me that they had cancer and they only had a year, they were gone within 2 months. And so I may not even have a year. So it doesn't matter if I have to work 140, 150 hours a week. I don't even know if that's physically possible, but it doesn't matter if that's what I have to do. Whatever it takes. I need my game studio, I need my company to be the biggest success it can be, so I can show them. I can say, hey, look, Look what I've done. Look at all this stuff that I've achieved. Look what I've accomplished. And it's because of you, and it's because of what you taught me, you know. So that's why I'm pushing so hard. I know that people are worried that I'm pushing it a bit far with 130 hours a week. But that's why. That's my motivation right now. And I don't have a lot of time to make that happen. So sorry guys, I gotta catch my breath here for a second. Hey guys, I'll show you a little bit of Ruby River, which is in development. I'll show you a little bit of that. How about that? So, let's have a look. I think, which save file was I supposed to load? Let me see. We'll find out. And I appreciate all of you guys, all of your support, and you guys are doing huge heavy lifting here in helping spread the word about my games, and I'm just so grateful to all of you. I can't be a success without you guys, you know. So yeah, that was probably a little too personal to share, but you know, it's important to discuss these kind of things because we're all going to face this kind of thing in our lives at some point, you know. We're all going to lose people, and we have to be able to look forward and understand the best way that we can live our lives and the best way that we can help people and support people who have to deal with these sort of situations. So yeah, just thanks to all of you guys. Thank you so much for helping make my studio a success, you know. Yeah, thanks for the support, guys. Weston Taylor, I'm lucky you have a situation where you can work as your brain and body allow, always sharpening my environment to improve productivity. That's great, absolutely. I'm always looking for a way to optimize the way that I'm working in terms of, can I be doing this better to where it's less brute force? If there's something that you can do where it takes less brute force and you can work more elegantly, which means that it takes, just less brute force and working more elegantly. I'm always looking for a way to do that. So it's important to stop and look around because often your tools, your options for tools will change. Your opportunity to adjust your workflow can change, and you can work more elegantly and require less brute force. Sometimes you that's all you have, though. Sometimes you need brute force to just get the work done. But there are other times where things can change and you no longer need to brute force it. Elkin, I'm stoked for Ruby River Remaster. I'm not huge into survival games like that, but Palworld is starting to change my mind on that, so I'm excited to dive into Ruby River. That's great, you know, and hey, this is going to launch with chill mode. So chill mode will let you turn off the enemies and you can just collect stuff and build and explore the environment. So that'll be fun. You'll on 3DS, Ruby River really pushed that system to its limits. 100% honest here, I did not think Ruby River was going to work on the 3DS. There's no way that should have worked because it works on original 3DS. That's what sort of gets me. Like, if it ran just on the new 3DS, that's fine. The fact that no other developer was able to make something like Ruby River on the original 3DS was what really, you know, weirded me out. Where I saw it running and I thought, holy crap, how is the game not just crashing out instantly, you know? So I'm so excited that people are enjoying that and just having so much fun with it on the 3DS. And I just want to make this game the absolute best that it can be just to show you guys that I'm grateful for all of you enjoying it. Stay the going. Thanks. You know, thank you guys for all that you do. You know, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to sell any copies, really. Weston Tyler, yeah, for real. One of my friends, the only one who continually asked for demos of my game, died like 3 weeks ago before I had anything really. Oh no. Oh. I hope that you had a chance to at least spend time together and you had a chance to say goodbye. I think not getting a chance to say goodbye is really, that's the kind of thing that it makes things more difficult than it already would be. And it leaves this huge hole in your soul if you don't get to say goodbye in that way. You know? Are those lake caustics? Are those lake caustics a surface trick? No, it's part of the shader. It's the water shader. They're not geometry based or anything. They're sort of part of this. There's no logic for under the water. If you go under the water, you're no longer viewing the shader, and you won't see the caustics anymore. So I have to make it so people can't go underwater here. Lee Comstock, your dad is a hobbyist musician. You make games as a hobby. He makes music for my games. That's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. That's the coolest thing I've heard all year. That's so cool, Lee. He makes music for your games. I hope to be successful as an artist, and if I do, it would be nice if my dad gets to see it, but my health comes first. That is so awesome. Wow. That's so great. Good for you guys. That's really cool. Let's just build a little cabin here. I'm fine-tuning the controls. I'm putting in a lot of testing to make sure that the controls feel right. Because the controls were originally designed with touchscreen in mind only, so it feels weird using hardware controls. I'm going to put a cabin right by the pond here. I don't want to bother the little fishies, so... Let's see here. Oops, I accidentally built on top of it. That's wonky. Okay, so let's see. Off brake. Right, so I need to fix it because the brake function. Oh, there's nothing I can do about it because of floors. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, turn that back on. Structure. Window. I like nice big windows, you know. I need to adjust the UI again. It's a lot of fine tuning because it's right now it's actually like sort of obscuring. You can see it's obscuring my view a little bit, so I need to adjust the UI. I need to make the UI as small as possible without being too small, you know. I think I'm going to put my door. I'll leave that to be a door there. Okay. I'm so glad people enjoyed this, you know. I knew this was going to be the last 3DS game, so I thought this has to be a game that could last forever. You know, people could play this and there wouldn't be an end to it, and they can just enjoy it as much as possible. And that was my approach with Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers, is that style of game. It's a battle RPG with a high infinity factor that you can just play that game forever. Okay. Ah, I'm out of materials. I'm out. All right. See, I don't want to cut down trees that's by my house. I mean, like, I sound like a corrupt Western capitalist. I'll cut down someone else's trees. I just don't want to ruin my view, you know. But I don't want to ruin my view. Is there a difference in the frame rate of Ruby River between the two different 3DS consoles? Yes. On the new 3DS, the frame rate is significantly better. And also, on the 3DS, I designed it so you could close the item menu and the bottom screen menu entirely. Because if you close that, the frame rate goes up significantly. Envy, today's code linker is for Guardians and Metal Exterminators. It's a new playable character. Envy. Ruby River is a technical marvel and better than the official Minecraft port. Wow, that's a huge compliment. Thanks. I actually tried the Minecraft port. I was pretty impressed with it, considering that it's such a big game. Minecraft is huge, you know? So I was impressed. But again, I'm not super familiar with how Minecraft is supposed to be. So I think if someone's familiar with Minecraft, maybe they would see where the cracks are showing through. For me, I didn't know that much about Minecraft. Silversonic. That just shows how good of a game developer you are, that you could make it work on original 3DS. Honestly, I think it was magic. I think it took magic, because I look at it and still don't believe that it works. Still, like I've been going back to play the original Ruby River a bit, because I'm working on the remaster, and I was running it on original 3DS, and I was thinking, like, how did I do that? Ruby River was bundled with Deathly Delusion Destroyers and was only available on new 3DS. It wasn't downloadable or playable on original 3DS. No, it worked on original 3DS. It was for original. It just wasn't in Europe. It just shows what is possible when game developers really try to push the limits of the hardware they are working on, something that I feel has been lost in a lot of game studios in this HD era. I agree with you. I think the reason why we're losing that sort of aspect is because game engines, like modern game engines, make it easy. Well, they make it effortless to produce something that looks visually impressive, and that's because the game engine does all of the heavy lifting. It does all the work to make your game look impressive, and I think people are starting to think, oh, that's as far as I need to go. That's all I need to do to make a game good. And I think that's our problem right now, is you can push 2 buttons and then your game can look photorealistic in Unreal, and you've done no effort. That's where the problem is. I'm lucky, I consider myself lucky that I worked on 3DS, and it was such a nightmare that it pushed me to try my absolute hardest. And even though I did my best, and I can see that my best wasn't good enough, developing on the 3DS forced me to push that boundary and make myself even better as a developer. So, yeah. Weston Tyler, that shader is good at parallax. Reminds me of the Half-Life Alex. Oh man! Oh, the beer bottles in Half-Life Alex. I'll tell you, as a developer, sometimes things give you envy, and man, Half-Life Alex, the physics in that gave me some serious envy. I was looking at that going, man, that looks so good. Yeah, it looks like it's got real liquid in it. Will there be more music for Ruby River? No. I'm investing all of my time in Ruby River on the world, because you can see it as it's a total graphical overhaul. I'm adding new content that I don't want to spoil, so I'm not even going to say much. So I'm investing my time for development in other things. I feel like that with the soundtrack for Ruby River, it's complete. I made the sound that I wanted to make, and unlike Guardians and Metal Exterminators, I don't feel like there's anything missing from this soundtrack. I think the soundtrack has everything that it needs to be complete. So I'm not adding any new music to Ruby River or Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. Those games, soundtracks, they feel complete to me. I'm getting hit. I'm getting killed by a crow. I'm gonna die. Hello everyone, I'm going to die. I'm gonna die. I don't have a good weapon equipped. The hatchet is not for combat. Oh, cool, I killed him and I got a steak out of it. Nice. I live to chop another day. Hey, Luna Knights, great to see you. Yeah, we're doing Code Linker Lunar Night, so please post your link code. Weston Tyler, how do you manage draw calls instances causing lag with big houses and bases? In Fallout 4, they just limit how much you can build. Is that the strat? So, with Ruby River, how I manage that, especially on the 3DS, whoa, you know, is I rely on... shoot, my brain's drawing a blank. Give me a second here. Hold on, just give me a second. I don't want to get killed. Oh, there you can view the controls. Let me give me a second here. GPU instancing. There we go. GPU instancing. So there's a false belief, a false understanding of static batching. People think that static batching is this all-in-one solution that fixes everything, when that's not. Static batching doesn't actually do what people think it does. It doesn't do what people say it does. It doesn't just, oh, instantly all of a sudden your draw calls are down. That's not the most important thing, because static batching means that you're drawing every single polygon that's batched together with that, which means that if you have a ton of that other object that's like all the way out in other parts of the world, even if they're too far, they're gone, they're still going to be drawn. So that static batching, I almost never use it. And also it has such a huge memory implication that it causes significant memory pressure. It contributes to memory leakage, memory pressure. It increases your load times an obnoxious amount. And if you have it, like say for example on a 3DS game, your game's gonna crash immediately. So static batching is not really a good solution. So GPU instancing is how I'm usually able to manage. It's a balancing act. There's no one solution that you can, click, because every game is different. Every game could rely on different solutions. So maybe in one game static batching is great, whereas for other games static batching would not be a good idea. I don't use static batching, but GPU instancing is really how I manage to keep the frame rates decent. Especially, like, you can see the whole forest, like, it's massive. There's thousands upon thousands of pieces of foliage in there that are all interactable. I rely on GPU instancing, which is quite powerful for that. With all the houses and everything, they also even share, the vast majority of them share the base material. When it comes to the walls, the floors, that stuff shares the same material. You were thinking, Elkin Fencer, you were thinking of Guardians and Metal Exterminators. Sneha Vegas, this is the game I tried to get before the shop closed down, but you could never get the money. I wished you would have messaged, because I didn't want people to miss out. So I was giving out as many copies as I could, and I eventually ran out of every copy of every game that I've launched. But there are people out there that I was able to get the game out to, just on request, So I don't want it to feel voyeuristic. I think I'm gonna put some normal walls in here. I got my window wall. I'm gonna put a normal wall, because you gotta change your clothes at some point, and you don't want people you don't really want people peeking in, What's the save button now? I've changed it. You press plus to save. What's the save button though? I don't know. Okay. A window wall. I'll put a window wall here. Let's see. There's a couple things that I'm going to change with the controls. So what you see here won't be in the final game. I'll improve it a little bit. Right now, you have to hold the Y button to close the menu, and it doesn't feel fast enough. See, if I hold the X button, that'll open, but I'm starting to think that I don't necessarily like it. So I'll make it the minus button. We'll toggle through it. Stuff. So hold the Y. just feels too clunky, you know? It's not smooth enough. I'm really messed up with my walls here. I did such a bad job here. Oh, great. I did bad. I did real bad. This is gonna be... No one ever said I was an architect, alright? I'm gonna have to... Oh, I'll figure it out. I've trapped myself. I'm in a hell of my own making is what's happened here. I can't get out. You can dismantle things, but the button for some reason isn't activating for dismantling. So there we go. I'm in hell of my own making, and I deserve what's happened. Let's see. Silver Sonic, a quick question: do trees eventually grow back when you cut them down? I think I may have asked this for the original version you were working on. No, trees never grow back when you cut them down. It's a because if trees grew back, it would feel really one, it's cheap and it's basically infinite materials, and it sends the wrong message as well in terms of gameplay. And then of course the overall message is you've killed a tree, bro. It's dead. It's gone. If they grew back, I think it would have a very negative impact on how you view Silver Falls as a series, because I want to reduce the amount of how you say ludonarrative dissonance. I want to keep that to an absolute minimum, and that's one of my greatest priorities when I'm working on this game is the ludonarrative dissonance. It's the things that you do from a gameplay aspect are things that are occurring in the context of the story. So it would break that consistency of Silver Falls if the trees grew back, and it would destroy the philosophy of the games. It's something that you would see, like, for some reason, if I became a billionaire and I sold, the IP to, like, Ubisoft or something, and I let Ubisoft make Silver Falls, that's the kind of thing that you would see, because then it's being made by a developer who doesn't, pardon, my language, a developer who doesn't give a shit, so they're just going to make whatever. Sound off in the comments. If I were to sell Silver Falls IP, which will never ever happen, who would be the absolute worst developer for it? Put it in the comments. Let me know the absolute worst developer, the developer who would destroy the series the absolute worst way possible. Who would it be? And I mean by, like, making the worst games that just betray the entire spirit of Silver Falls. Who would, what developer, what studio, or what publisher, whatever, would ruin the games the hardest? Envy. Okay, cool. Envy, I'll do your code linker. Okay, this is for Envy. Yep, code linker is for Karn today. Right. CBXGA. Okay, cool. That's for Envy. Let's see. Weston Tyler. Yeah, instead of using the day-night defaults in Unity, I have an array of custom ground, sky, and shadow colors depending on time and weather, and I lurk between, same as how a Wind Waker did it cheaply. Yeah, nice. That's a good approach. I use that approach where it's not the automatic system, it's all manual, because the time of day for these games is stylized. Like Ruby River is not, it's not a photorealistic game, it's stylized, and because that gives it a fantastical sense to it. It gives it a sense of wonder to it, and I want it to look absolutely just beautiful. And I think if it looked photorealistic, I think it'd be very boring. I think it would not be interesting. So I'll change the time of the day to sunset time. 5:56. Messing up my game console by changing the time. And let me just dismantle this wall here. My batteries are low. I'm going to switch Joy-Cons as well. Okay, cool. Use the touchscreen to break these things here. There we go. Let me switch Joy-Cons. So I gotta put these out. Let me bust open a fresh pack of Joy-Cons to make sure they work. Am I right? If I was a millionaire, no, I mean joking, obviously, but like jokingly, if I was a millionaire, I would just have like a whole wall full of Joy-Cons, so that when I want to play Smash Bros, I'll just bust open a new pack. I'll bust open a new pack of Joy-Cons, so that they'll actually won't drift on me. I wouldn't actually do that, you know. Just I'm being silly. Okay. So if we wait a minute or two, it'll refresh the time of day. I need to make that thing go away. Oops. Oh, I can do that with a shortcut button here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna put a chair by this little pond here, and there's supposed to be fish in there. You can't see them now. Obviously, you know, when I make the full version of the game, you'll see fish for the final build. Okay, so let me just put a. You know what? I like to have a buddy sitting with me. I'm gonna put a bench. I'm gonna put a bench right here. Cool. Hop on the bench. Here we go. Sitting on my bench, just enjoying this little pond. Looking at my hard work over there, my janky cabin. I removed the door. Okay, let's see. Silver Sonic, I'm hugely impressed when I see how some of the old 8-bit and 16-bit games were made and how they had to work around limitations and all the tricks they use to make games look amazing. That's what results in interesting games. It sharpens you as an artist, as a creator, as a developer. It's that sort of hardship and requirement for you to find interesting solutions. That's what shapes you as an artist. You will never develop as an artist if everything is easy. If everything just happens because you can push a button, you will never develop as an artist or a creator or a designer or a developer. And I think that's why you can tell when someone's had an interesting life when you enjoy the work that they create. I'm going to die. I'm going to die here. I don't have enough health to fight this guy, so I will die. I'm dead now. I'll just die. He still has his 3DS graphics, by the way. I haven't put his modern graphics in. So, boy, that's some chunky 3DS graphics, isn't it? So here's what I think. I think his texture resolution is 32 by 32, because that's all that I had. That's all I can allow for this guy on the original 3DS, or it would have crashed. Oh, he's destroying my bench. Oh, no, I should have stepped away. He was destroying my bench. I would rather die than let my bench be destroyed. And now my bench is damaged thanks to this guy. He's going to kill me. I'll die in the water, let my body feed the fish. MasterCard, I think streaming your games is one of the best ways to promote them. Oh, thanks for the feedback. I'll try it on Twitch. See, again, I don't really understand Twitch all that much, and I don't want to be like, you know, hey, fellow kids. Oh, no! I was wearing armor and it broke! Oh, no! Oh, dang. So here's how armor works. So you can see under the water here. If you're wearing armor, then the armor takes damage in your place. So your health won't decrease, but the armor will decrease. I didn't realize I was wearing the armor, and I lost it. I'm not going to save my game. I'm just going to die. I'm going to drown and die. Just kill me. Just kill me already. You can see that the caustics aren't visible if you go under the water because they're totally, you know, shader based. Oh, I hate losing my armor. I'll just die. I would rather die than lose armor in this game, honestly. Oops. Okay, it crashed. Let's go back to Guardians and Metal Exterminators. I think I better wrap up soon. I'm gonna go grab myself some lunch. So we'll hang out. We'll hang out a little bit. We'll chat. we'll hang out, we'll chat, and then I'll wrap up. LODs, instances, imposters, streaming. Westing Tyler, I use level of details, absolutely, it's very important. Here's what's annoying about Unity. Like there will be things like instancing and whatnot that should work, but you eventually learn just by like pure horrifying nightmare process that base things like that, like GPU instancing and other optimizations, they're supposed to work, but you'll find out they're actually broken on certain platforms, and they won't tell you that it's broken because they don't even know that it's broken, and you just find out. You won't even understand why, but through process, like hundreds and hundreds of hours of process of elimination, you'll find out this basic thing is broken. Like, for example, there's certain platforms I've worked on where mesh compression causes your game to crash. It causes unstoppable memory leakage, and then your game crashes. And it's like, why is that broken? So that's one of the worst things about Unity, is all these little things that should work will be very broken, and they'll destroy your game, and you'll have no idea why. Oh, this Joy-Con keeps cutting out. I don't know why. Silver Sonic, now they don't need to put any real effort, so they don't even care. Unfortunately, yeah, because it's so easy to make games look impressive, So that's part of the reason why I'm also, when I develop a new game, I started on older versions of Unity as well, bare bones, and I try to do as much on older versions manually as I can, and not rely on the engine to do a bunch of heavy lifting for me. Westing Tyler, so are you serious? None of those meshes are set to static in the Unity Inspector that you just saw. They're set to static so that they don't have to calculate their movement, but in Unity I've disabled static batching. So static batching is off. You can turn that off from your build settings. It's one tick button, one check mark, so you don't have to disable that. So the objects are marked as static, so that way the game doesn't have to compute their movement. Otherwise it has to recalculate the position and the rotation and all that. So they are marked as static in that regard, but they are not statically batched. See, the problem is, say like my tree, if these trees were static batched, even if one of those trees was visible, the engine would have to draw every single tree. Even if only one or two are visible, if they were statically batched, the game has to draw every single one, and that's expensive. So static batching is really only good for indoor areas. It's not appropriate for large outdoor areas. Silver Sonic, the only reason I ask about the trees is when I do get to play this, I would want to build my little cottage and have a nice view of the forest with a lot of trees and vegetation. Yeah, they don't grow back, unfortunately. So again, just find an area that you think is boring and you don't want to build anything there, and then cut down those trees. I know I sound horrible. I sound like a big company, but cut down trees somewhere that you don't like. Snee Vegas, THQ Nordic, ouch, Ryko Ubisoft, oh, David Klein Midway, ow, 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 ow. I wouldn't want Midway touching my games, honestly. Oh, Lunar Knights, I'll do your code now. Let's just enjoy the fire here. Okay, time to do some codes. Lunar Knights, here we go. Mike Garcia, good to see you, thanks for coming to hang out. We're doing code linker content right now. Okay. Lunar Knights, NQKXW. NQKXW. If Ubisoft did a Silver Falls, the very first thing Ubisoft would do is put a massive mini-map, like the bottom right corner of the screen, the whole thing would just be a mini-map. And that'd be like the first thing. And there would be like navigation symbols through the entire game. And you guys know that I never do that in Silver Falls games. There would be like diamonds and glowing shit. Sorry, again the language. There'd be glowing garbage everywhere if Ubisoft did a Silver Falls game. There. Cool, Luna Knights, and let's see if anyone else. Konami would turn it into a pachinko machine. That'd be harsh. I think. No. You know what Konami would do? If it got Silver Falls, Konami would hire some small Western developer that's never made a game before, and that's just like assembled their team for the first time. Or maybe they'll pick someone from like a country that you didn't even know existed, that you've never even heard of before, but you're pretty sure it sounds like it's from Europe. They would get a small developer team from there that's never made a game before, and Konami would get them to make a Silver Falls game. Sega, they'd sell the Code Linker characters for $4 a piece. Oh, Gino say, that's harsh. But Sonic Superstars, which launched like 3 days before Mario Wonder, there's a lot of like character skin DLCs there, and it's kind of disappointing the way that they did that. Konami ruined Metal Gear Solid pretty hard. They sure did. Westing Tyler. Silver Sonic. It's a tie between Activision and Ubisoft. Here's what Activision would do. Activision would buy Silver Falls, and then they would just cancel it immediately. And then the people that were going to make the Silver Falls game, they would make them do another Call of Duty game. They would get them to support Call of Duty development. E-Franking, is Sweet Abomination's single local multiplayer, online multiplayer? Sweet Abominations will be local multiplayer. I don't have what it takes in my studio right now to do acceptable online multiplayer. And by acceptable, I mean very good. Your online needs to be very good. And I don't have the resources to make that happen right now. MasterCar, do you use the A-star algorithm for pathfinding on the enemies? No, it's really basic. They're just looking for the player. In my other games, what the enemies will do is if they come into a situation where they're bumping into geometry, they'll raycast forward and look for it. Then they'll check for the shortest path. They'll see if left is shorter or right or shorter, so it looks for a corner, and then they'll trigger a behavioral sequence where they'll walk in that direction, and then after a certain amount of time, they'll look towards the player again and try to get towards the player again. So I haven't used really advanced pathfinding yet, but that's something that I will work more on in future games as well. David Klein, you love the stylized graphics over realistic, at least more room for the imagination, plus the games can run way better. I agree. I think because, look, people know this isn't real life, right? These are video games. You should take every opportunity to express something. I think games should be about sharing a vibe. And if your game just looks photorealistic, that's a very boring vibe, because you look away from a photorealistic game, you see the rest of the world. That's not really a vibe, is it? You've lost the opportunity to create an interesting vibe and share that with people. Happy Friday, Mike. Let's see. MasterCard. Today's Thursday. Well, in Australia, it's Friday. It's the 2nd. I'm in the future. Let's see. It'd be funny if I made a pachinko machine. Luna Knights, you notice you cannot double hit in this version of Metal Exterminators. Yeah, I fixed a lot of things. There might be a couple of things that I've missed in terms of bugs and whatnot, but I've done my best to improve it as much as I can. Let's see. So I am actually melting. So I do my live streaming and recording through my studio, and I don't have air conditioning, so I'm actually sweating up a storm here, and I'm melting. So I just want to thank everyone so much for hanging out, and I'm going to reveal that I've sold Silver Falls to THQ, and they're changing Silver Falls into a skateboarding franchise. So please look forward to Silver Falls Skate. It's basically a Tony Hawk game, but it's just got Silver Falls characters. Um, THQ is getting rid of CodeLinker because it's too much effort, and because I've sold the IP to THQ, I'm not going to be personally involved developing the games anymore. So please look forward to Silver Falls Skate. It's just going to be a skateboard series now. They might try Silver Falls Scooter, where they're going to do a series of scooter games. That's Silver Falls, and then they might try Silver Falls Rollerblading as well. So yeah, please look forward to Silver Falls from THQ. We can just hang out and chat a little bit. I'm melting. I'm melting in my office, so I'm going to wrap up pretty soon here in a couple minutes. We'll just hang out and chat for a little bit. But I need to get air. What I'm hoping is my games sell so very, very well, especially Guardians and Metal Exterminators, which just launched. I'm hoping it sells so well that I can afford to put air conditioning in my studio. I'm sweating up a storm right now. I don't want you all to think that I'm naturally moist. I'm not naturally moist. I'm naturally, I'm quite balanced in terms of dryness and wetness. I'm not normally, I don't normally have this oily sheen. That is because the studio lights are very hot and I don't have air conditioning in here. Gino's a Sega is in their hot seat hard on that DLC, and many others were greatly looking forward to the new Yakuza game that released this week. Then we discovered they are selling us the new Game Mode Plus. Oh, that is poor form for $20. Sega, that's getting greedy. That's getting way too greedy. Gino's a, and while I'm thinking of Yakuza and Persona, they'd also sell us boosters that let us max grind our Guardians and Metal Exterminators 3 times faster for another $20. Yeah, that sounds like something Sega would do. Absolutely. Let's see who else. Who does one of those mobile developers? We should let a mobile developer buy the Silver Falls IP, and then there would be season passes, right? And they can have really obnoxious character skins, but you have to play 400 hours in one week in order to get that character skin, and then they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, you didn't play 400 hours this week. Well, just give us $30. Give us $30, and you'll get your character skin." So that's we'll find a good mobile developer who can do Silver Falls like that. Raiko, I just thought of something scary. A mix development of Silver Falls featuring Ubisoft, not wanting you to own games. Oh! So it's oh yeah. It's like a subscription. Oh, you're paying for a subscription to play the game. And it's streaming only. Cloud streaming only. So you don't even get to download the game. You have to stream it from their server for Ubisoft. Sega with DLC costs and Konami making it into a pachinko machine. Yeah. That'd be brutal. Don't forget, Konami might make a cute little mini-series on the internet that you can vote on. Snee Vegas TV. THQ has a little bad will right now because they got a license for a wrestling game and then sold it full price with hardly any content and one character DLC for $13. Oof. Way to ruin all our favorite franchises, huh? That's brutal. That's so brutal. Let's see, what do we got? Nexon. Who's Nexon? What do they make? What does Nexon make? You know what? I'll boot up a little bit of Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers to show you before we check out here. But I am actually physically melting. So I'll boot that up. I'll just show you. Just show you a little bit of my... yeah, so I'm remastering this. And then hopefully later in the week I can show you more of my other games. What I'm hoping is I'm going to put Sweet Abominations on the Switch, on the Atari VCS, and on the PC through Steam. And hopefully we can use something like Parsec, and maybe we can do multiplayer online, us. It's going to be up to 6 players, so we can all actually play a Sweet Abominations together. That'd be pretty fun on stream. So, yeah. And so right now, I haven't finished the hardware controls for Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers, so I still need to use the touchscreen for navigation. Let's see, Nexon. Do they do Maple Story? Is that it? Oh, didn't they ruin that? Okay, let's go to the diner. We're going to the diner now. We'll just wait for some boosts. How about that? Listen to the diner music. And here's one funny little graphical glitch that I have to fix right now. Have a look on the right side of the screen. So I upscaled all of the graphics in Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. This was originally a 3DS game. I've redone all the graphics upscaled. You can see this little black bar here. So it's a little off-center. So there's a significant amount of manual work I have to do adjusting all the graphics. Because the game was originally designed for 2 screens, you played your 3DS vertically. Have a look at this black bar here. I'm going to have to fix that. Oh, Raiko, it stinks. Thank gosh for Nintendo. Good games, and they like options for purchases. I trust Nintendo. I have faith in Nintendo, and I trust... Hey, there's Brian Steelhide. We just saw him when we were playing Guardians and Metal Exterminators earlier. We had that really ugly, stupid shirt. You can see these days he just wears a normal shirt. Oh no! Oh no! Sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you. I'm just waiting for my 4th divorce to finish up. It's all too much. This poor guy. Oh man, this poor guy. Hey, you know what they say? 5th time's the charm. And Nexon has ruined every game they've published eventually. That's sad. The diner reminds me of Twin Peaks. I've never seen Twin Peaks, but everyone tells me that they that's something that I would like. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to get the diner here to serve my healthy fruit smoothie recipes. You love it. One of the things that I still need to add is I need to put a black window behind the text so it's easier to read. You guys want a spoiler? How many people are in here right now? We got... What do we got? How many people? We have 17 people in here. I'm going to share a secret with you guys. I'm going to share a secret with you that no one else is going to know. This is the protagonist of Silver Falls Fitness, the canceled Wii U game. This guy was going to be your fitness coach. This is Brad. Yeah. And he's referenced a fair amount. If you play White Inside Its Umbra, you actually, your geosignals, you actually, you know, get posts from Brad, and he's sort of advertising for his personal training. So the characters in the world are aware that Brad is a physical fitness trainer. I hate missing targets with my crossbow. The bolts are kind of expensive, you know. I know, young lady, I know. I do a fair bit of archery, and losing an arrow is not fun. Oh boy, I hate losing an arrow. Well, he's on his 4th divorce. That's when you start toning down your peacocking. You don't need a big, stupid V-cut shirt when you're on your 4th divorce. My inspiration for that was ugly 80s clothes, and I just wanted to see how low of a V-cut I could get. And it turns out you can go as low as you want with a V-cut. You can go right to the bottom. And there's no limit to the V-cut you can put on a shirt. Silver Falls fit you. Yeah, fit you too. Silver Falls fit you, so yeah. What did he say? I wish I could help, but I know I'd be a liability. It's all right. Hey, it's the thought that counts, kid. It's the thought that counts. All right, we'll go into a battle, which I will have to use the touchscreen to navigate to. So some of the hardware controls are working. Like if I press the X button, that brings up my menu, but I need to add the cursor. So I'll just go ahead and pick a mission here. You know what? Who's in my... Oh, I don't have a lot of characters right now. Okay, I'll just pick a mission. I want to win a gun. Here we go. If I do this one, I'll get a gun. So I'll hide the code linker icon there. So you use the D-pad up and down. You can see you pick which character you want to use. head. And again, the enemy graphics are double the size right now because I've increased the resolution, so I need to scale them back down. So the enemies are twice as big as they should be right now. Let's go ahead and get Holt to use his electro shot. Yeah, that reached. Okay, we'll get Dodger to use his Shuriken Storm. 420. Hey, fellow kids! 420, am I right? Did I sound really cool just then, you guys? 420, kids! You can use... Oops. You use the analog stick to aim your attack. Hello, 420, children! If I press B, that'll use the encourage move. That fills up the meter for my partners. Let's go ahead and use Electro Shot again, it's pretty strong. Let's see, Westing Tyler, Twin Peaks Season 1 for $8, I meant to say. Wow, that's pretty good price for a whole season for $8. I'd have nothing that can play a Blu-ray right now. Someone lent me a Blu-ray the other day, and then I had to return. I said, I can't actually watch this. I don't have anything that plays Blu-rays. Which is the bummer. Okay, return to camp. Cool. All right, well, we'll chat, we'll hang out, and then we'll wrap up. Oh, we got an event. Hey, let's watch the event with Georgia. This is something, again, this is the kind of storytelling that I really like, and it actually aggravates me that games don't use this style of storytelling more. Is this game takes place, about 3 weeks after 3 Down Stars, and you actually see the characters meet and discuss exactly what happened. You see the characters talking about it. Whereas often, games will just sort of gloss past it, and they'll mention it from like a wink and a nod, like, hey, remember Raccoon City? Wink, wink, wink. But the characters never discuss the events from a personal level. It's so frustrating. So that's something that I keep in mind when I'm writing Silver Falls games, is these characters are all going through something really, this is an important time of your life. The things that are happening are going to change their lives. And so they discuss things from a personal perspective. And so that's something I really prioritize when I'm writing the events and the characters is, dude, what the hell happened 3 weeks ago, man? That was the weirdest thing. So that's where I come from in terms of storytelling and writing. Here's consistency with writing. She met the characters of 3 Down Stars, but they never even actually exchanged names. They never said, my name is. So they don't even know each other's names, even though they've met during 3 Down Stars. And that's important to keep that level of consistency when it comes to writing. Because people will know. People who know the stories, they enjoy the stories, they'll know. Put the lime in the coconut, you roll it up and smoke it up. I only know the lime in the coconut song because I played Alan Wake, the first one, super, super long ago. That song got stuck in my head. You put the lime in the coconut. Guys, Lady Lunar, if you've been playing Guardians and Metal Exterminators S, you've been seeing the name Lady Lunar on the songs. Lady Lunar is the name of the artist that created almost all of the songs in Guardians and Metal Exterminators. There's only one song that isn't created by her, and that song was by the band Wizard, and that's Strike the Moon by Wizard. Lady Lunar created all of the music, other than that one song, created all of the music for Guardians and Metal Exterminators. So when you hear characters talk about Lady Lunar, you know exactly what her music sounds like. Sometimes I'll think of a name, right? Just during the day, I'm not even working on games. If I'm like out somewhere, I'll think of a character's name, I'll jot it down, and I'll think, oh man, that's a great name for a character. And sometimes I'll just create a character out of nowhere because I thought of a name that sounded cool. Cliff Montaigne is one of the names that I must have been having lunch somewhere, and it just popped into my head, and I thought, that's hilarious. That sounds like such a Silver Falls character name as Cliff Montaigne. You watched a lot of the Muppets. That's where you heard it. I'm a big Muppet fan. Big Muppet fan. Yeah. Let's see. I have 6 Blu-ray players in my house: PS3, PS4 Pro, PS5, Xboxes, your old PC which has a Blu-ray drive. I've never had a Blu-ray drive in a computer. I've never had a single computer that could read Blu-rays. And my main development computer used for my games doesn't even have a disc drive. I mean, that's crazy, right? Westing Tyler, what tools do you use to create your character models? I use my workflow is outdated. It's something that I need to change very soon. But I use outdated software that Adobe purchased and discontinued. Fuse, just to put the clothes on the characters. I create my clothes with Marvelous Designer. I do part of the rigging process with Mixamo. I have to do my blend shapes for all the expressions and everything in Maya. In general, I like using Fuse because I can modify the clothes on the characters and change the materials of the clothing as need be. And that's mainly why I use it. It's just for the clothing management. So I create the clothes in Marvelous Designer, bring them in to fuse, and then I can sort of like move the sleeves around, adjust the sleeves, the fit, and modify the materials and textures. But I need to start using Character Creator. I purchased it 2 years ago, and it's way better, but it's too heavy. It's very heavy, and my workflow just doesn't have space for it, because the Switch needs your models to be low poly count and highly optimized. Character Creator is just really heavy, and it's like it chops up parts of the character, so it's set up more for stronger platforms like PC gaming, but it's really annoying to have to like change the material on, like, oh, this hand, and then that's separate from this part, and then this part of your face is separate. It's pretty irritating, and it slows me down. So I prefer when the character is just one material right now, because I don't need the body to be separate. If you were doing like a very high resolution game that people play in 4K and the camera gets very close, then that's when it's important for your character's body parts to be separated into separate pieces so that you can have higher resolution textures. But I'm in a situation where I don't need that. Westing Tyler, you create characters from names as well, or sometimes it's a song that inspires a whole story arc. Yeah, I hear you, absolutely. Bull Brandish, you guys would be so shocked how many characters I created just because off the top of my head I thought of a name when I was creating the lore for 3 Down Stars. 3 Down Stars has a ton of lore that plays during the loading screens, and so I had to come up with a bunch of characters, and there's a bunch of characters that exist in Silver Falls just because I thought of a cool name for the loading screen, and they ended up becoming the main characters in Silver Falls. Like Bull Brandish, I originally came up with his grandfather's name, Bill Brandish. He's the creator of the Midnight Realm, and I just thought, what would be cool? What would be a cool name for his grandson? And that's how I came up with Bull Brandish. Let's see, Elkin. I specifically built that computer with a Blu-ray drive so I could read and burn discs. Wow, it can burn Blu-rays? That's crazy. I've never had one that does that. Your computer doesn't have a disc drive either. You bought a cheap DVD USB drive for it. That's the way to do it, you know. It's an easy solution. They're only like, what, $30 these days? Let's see. I'm probably going to do that as well. Raiko, they are forcing all digital on PCs. Luckily, we can get external drives. Yeah. What's that say? Someone went missing. Maybe ask Arnold. Him and Hogan know a lot about making people disappear. That's, oof. This guy's still upset. You also bought a Character Creator, and yeah, it's very heavy. I think it's ideal for PC game development where people want and they expect high fidelity characters, but man, it's a slow workflow. And if you only have a couple human characters to do, it's not that big of a deal. But there's like 130 characters in Silver Falls, I think. It's too much for one person to use Character Creator and set up all of these characters. This is too much. Who told you about me being a fighter pilot? Hey, let's have a drink instead. Yeah. Hey, Interjeet, Bose, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're well. I am working on bringing Animelee to the Switch. I'm hoping it'll be this year, but I am working on that. Interjeet here is like our biggest Animelee player. This guy has been cheering on Animelee, and so I'm pretty excited to bring Animelee to the Switch. Updated, fine-tuned mechanics, overhauled graphics, more playable characters. Elkin, I just want to be able to burn discs to play on my 3DO and Sega CD. Does anyone want a spoiler? You guys comment right now if you'd like just a real sneaky, small spoiler. If you guys want to know. Comment yes or no. Can you believe it? I'm going to be a dad any day now. The little fella will pop out of my wife. Weston Tyler, I'm experimenting with using Luma AI to generate 3D models, then use Quad Remesher in Blender to retopologize. That sounds cool. I've never heard of that. I didn't know you could do that with 3D models. So that's very cool. Let's see. Then rigify to quickly rig characters to be game ready. I can't remember. I think I'm using AccuRig. I just got that. I'm learning how to use it. I'm really looking forward to using it. Right now I'm manually building rigs, which is very annoying in Maya. So I'm hoping to learn AccuRig at some point. You guys, so we were talking about Super Silver Falls earlier. This is one of the protagonists from Super Silver Falls. He's obviously significantly younger in the 90s. These days, he's about to be a dad for the first time. But he's one of the protagonists. Oh, wait, no. Yes. Yes, this is one of the protagonists from Super Silver Falls, yeah. So, yeah, this is his first kid. And, yeah. And it's going to be really satisfying when people go back and play, or not go back, in a couple of years from now when I launch Super Silver Falls, then you get to meet these characters properly, you get to go on an adventure with these characters, and then you go back and you play this game and you think, oh, holy crap, Hunter was here the whole time. I think it'll be very exciting. Oh, Westing Tyler, I just remember that burned discs don't last as long as professional ones. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The difference between duplication with laser reactive dyes that fade versus replication factories use. Indrajit, okay, I'm going now. We will see you soon. I have to go now. Hey, take care. Thanks for coming to hang out, Indrajit. And stick around. I'll be talking more about Animele later in the year. Awakening a Silver Falls themed pinball table would be epic. That would be fun. That'd be really cool. I wouldn't say no to a Silver Falls pinball table, even if it was digital, you know? So, alright. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I'm genuinely melting. It's like 190 degrees in my studio. I would love if I could earn a ton of money with my latest game launch, Guardians of Metal Exterminators S, and if I could afford to put in an air conditioning unit into my studio. It's just one room, you know. It would be nice, but I'm melting under the studio lights. It's been great. It's been great hanging out with everyone. Seriously, look into Luma AI Discord for text to 3D to gen models for prototyping. That's very cool. Silver Falls for Dreamcast one day. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, when I have time. You guys, I'm as much of a big fan of old consoles, legacy consoles, as you guys. I love them just as much as you. Seeing cool new games on legacy consoles, I love it just as much as you guys. So, one day, absolutely, I will start making games for Dreamcast. Once all my commercial games are financially comfortable, when I've got a massive audience, I'm able to reach a lot of people and the games are supporting my studio. Because right now I'm working 130 hours a week. I'm hoping, you know, after the end of the year, things will settle and I won't have to work like that. Weston Tyler, hey, thanks very much for the well wishes. It's great to chat with you. Again, feel free to just hang out if I do a video, comment there, hang out at the next live stream. Feel free to join our Discord. You know, I chat with everyone there and hang out, and you know, you guys can talk about whatever. Will there be more characters for the 3DS and Wii U titles? Luna Knights, yes. There are future Silver Falls games coming out in the future, and the Code Linker content will bring more characters into the 3DS and Wii U games. So there are more characters coming. Westing Tyler, do you save streams to a playlist or VOD channel? They're saved. They're available. I'll put them in a playlist. I don't think they're automatically put in a playlist, but if you look at my live streams, they're all available to watch afterwards. Estatio, this has been nice to hang out. Thanks. Hey, it's been great. It's been great to meet you and hang out. Great to see you guys. Take care. So please keep an eye out. I will post the details for our next contest for Guardians of Metal Exterminators. It'll be a high score for Game 2, which is Gold, the shooting game, which is way harder than Game 1. And we'll distribute a new playable cryptid from that. Thanks, everyone. It's been so great hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to grab myself probably a burger and french fries. Not the healthiest thing in the world, but yeah. Take care, everyone. We'll see you again soon.